clawed my way out of Willamette. I fought hard to save Christmas from a deranged Latinx man. I ended up meeting the president's personal toilet cleaner. Things were good. I dumped Isabella and got a sexy goth girlfriend. And I was selling boner pills and smashing e-girls strange like nobody's business. Then, things got out of control. I made some inflammatory remarks regarding Israel during an interview on Nick News with Linda Ellerby and got cancelled. Agents of Mossad were gang-stalking on a constant basis. I think I accidentally murdered a sex worker. Or maybe Mossad put her corpse there while I was drunk, I don't know. I spent eons in my goon cave, but things I gooned to got pretty dark. But this is my chance to get back in the game. And here we are again with another Dead Rising challenge run. This time we'll be going through Dead Rising 2 off the record. And off the record, we're stuck in the middle of a zombie outbreak within an adult resort reminiscent of Las Vegas. It's not as good as the real Vegas though. In lore, the government decided to give Obsidian a massive grant in order to turn Las Vegas into a real-life New Vegas. Unfortunately, they didn't take into account that Obsidian is now being run by the people who made the Outer Worlds. The strip now looked like something out of Rick and Morty. Nihilistic and racially ambiguous girl bosses ran rampant throughout the strip, cracking jokes about student debt and white fragility, and annoying every single patron of the strip. The government, seeing that they had made a mistake worse than Santa Cabeza, wiped out the majority of southern Nevada. Fortune City, Vegas' uglier sister that has a chest like a cutting board and smells like yeast for some reason, took the mantle of America's playground. This is the setting of Dead Rising 2 off the record. The gameplay is greatly improved from the first Dead Rising. Survivors have gone from not being able to wipe themselves to having the brain power of a late-night comedy show enjoyer. The game's philosophy of using everything as a weapon is expanded upon with combo weapons. Taking two compatible weapons to a maintenance room will now allow the player to combine the weapons into something really special. Truly a great idea. Surely the new studio handling the franchise, Capcom Vancouver, won't run this idea into the ground over the course of the next two games. We have a resort full of secrets and mysteries ready for us to explore, so let's get right into it. The rules for this challenge are as follows. 1. I cannot eat food as it has worms in it. Oh, okay. 2. I can only heal through leveling up. None of the contaminated food from Fortune City can enter the temple that is my body. 3. In order to keep myself from using the most effective combo weapons at the start of the game, I will only be able to use a combo weapon if I have unlocked its combo card, allowing me to use the weapon to its fullest potential. 4. As with the last series, all psychopaths and bosses will be defeated. It gives us more to do, and I will not let Chuck Green suffer longer than he has to. 5. I will not purchase any Zombrex. It's an important and rare resource that I will cover at a more convenient time. 6. I must bring salvation to all the perverts, sickos, and other types of degenerates within Fortune City. And of course, we'll see the whole sad story come to its end and achieve ending S by finishing overtime mode. Without further ado, let's begin. This long and arduous journey begins with me looking at a wall of zombies, pondering as to why I decided to sign up for this poor excuse for an American Gladiators ripoff. They should have ripped off Legends of the Hidden Temple instead and had me go through a zombie-infested temple. I think I've got an idea for Season 2 of Terror's Reality. Moments before being sent into the ring, a Canadian freak comes up to me and asks for my autograph. I hide my disgust and oblige him. After the events of the Nick News incident, I can't risk another controversy. All of my prejudices about Canadians are vindicated when he implies that he's rooting for the zombies. Alright, I'll have to take care of him after the show for his arrogance. Before I can give him a piece of my mind, the doors open and I am lifted up into the arena. Memories of my time in Willamette come flooding back as the smell of undead hits my nose. I breathe deep, trying to remember the epic moves I had learned in that mall. I'm brought back to reality by the rapping the show's one and only host, Kanye Wesker.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Kanye Wesker, here with Frank in zombie killing. He's the best. He's gotta kill zombies to earn cash. Better not get bit, don't get no rash. Put those zombies in the corner grinder. Earn extra cash, that's Yeezy's reminder. Check out my hoes. This show has Jewish producers. Oh no.
My time back in the spotlight finally begins. I start my new fame by immediately having my neck chewed open by a zombie. It really is just like old times. I'm sure you've noticed by now, but these aren't nightmare zombies. The true cherry on top of this masochism sundae would be the inclusion of those monsters, but unfortunately I couldn't find a mod that would make the zombies run. Although maybe a secret guest appearance is in the cards later on. Clearing these first few waves of zombies is critical for achieving gold and impressing any hot chick watching. As Kanye previously stated, killing zombies earns me cash, and throwing them into the corner grinders will earn me bonus cash for each kill. The stage finally comes down and unlocks the grinders with a sea of zombies waiting to come in, although they sure take their time to come in. I open up 3 of the 4 grinders and begin to subject the zombies to the fate of countless Chinese factory workers by throwing them into this heavy machinery. The steel folding chair is my best friend here. Hitting a zombie with it will throw the zombie very far back and right into the grinder if you're in the right position. Smacking zombies into the grinder and making $750 for each one has to be one of the most satisfying things I've done in my time with video games. Viewers familiar with Off the Record will be surprised to see me use the knee drop and other high-level unarmed attacks despite me starting at level 1. I don't know why I can do this. After we finish the Terror is Reality section, I lose access to those moves until I properly unlock them later on. Anyways, putting those zombies into a lively compilation has gotten me into the gold tier. I wrap up my time in the ring by opening the final grinder, unleashing a torrent of flame onto the remaining undead occupants of the ring, and then I get a taste of my own medicine when the flames are turned on me, blasting me into the crowd of zombies outside the ring. Thankfully, before any real damage can be done, the game ends and I'm immediately taken out of the ring, 39 grand richer. Kanye sings my praises in a most passive-aggressive manner, making fun of my charity work helping out Norwooded incels. His duo of whores make fun of me, claiming I myself am balding while they hand me my hard-earned cash. Whatever, I know their type. They'll pay their tolls soon enough. As the rest of the show continues on, I sit in the locker room, looking at my newly earned cash. $39,000 is enough to get a tank of gas home, dinner at Culver's, and maybe about 2,400 V-Bucks. Damn this inflation. My attention is brought to the exposition channel, where it appears that the Rothschilds have built up some random hippie group to cry about zombie rights or something. Yada yada, gender-affirming care for the undead, blah blah blah, abortions for zombies, whatever. A fellow contestant comes up and sits next to me, feeling guilty. I mean, you're just killing zombies, they don't have feeling. Wait a minute. You're covered in blood and you haven't even gone out there yet. I don't know what the hell's going on with this dude, but I know I gotta get away from him before the cops show up. I leave the locker room, admiring my visage on the wall, and suddenly remembering what bathrooms are and what they are here for. I begin to mindlessly enter the bathroom, and then get a hold of myself and leave. Mossad might have hooked up the toilet in such a way where they can steal my feces and use its contents against me later. As I leave the area, I overhear voices. I follow the sound to find Kanye talking to a stoner, probably setting up a weed deal. How scandalous. My old Frank West ways begin to take hold again, and I start taking photos, violating their privacy. Kanye hands the stoner a keycard, probably to get inside his penthouse after the show to complete the deal. After that, he hands the guy a big-ass package of the devil's cabbage. Next, he hands the stoner a suitcase full of cash before patting him on the back and sending him on his way. Damn, this isn't any ordinary weed deal. Kanye seems to be pushing the unholy green and using his show as a front. Just like Breaking Bad, I have to expose this. Suddenly, my smartwatch goes off. A notification for Come Dungeon Gaming's new video has alerted them, scaring off Kanye and his cohort before I can jump down there and enact a citizen's arrest. Before I can escape and tattle at the nearest police station, I'm jumped by John Travolta, Eddie Murphy, and Don Cheadle. So it's a conspiracy held by all of Hollywood. These weed pushers must be stopped. The celebrities jump me, but I'm able to wrestle a lead pipe from Travolta's hand and fracture his and Eddie Murphy's skull. Don Cheadle, however, gets the jump on me, kicking me in the ribs and knocking me out. I'm able to pull myself together and escape by throwing a smoke pellet onto the floor. It was really cool. Shame the camera was waiting outside in the hallway instead. As I escape the brawl with the stars, I bump into the ample bosom of one of Kanye's pair of harlots. I get an eye full of those massive memories, the Lord Paizuri echoing in my head as I hold my composure and head for the elevator. I'm stopped by the second half of the whore pair, and she starts to feel my chest. I know they're making fun of me, but the damn twin fetish I got from watching Batman Beyond comes back hard, blocking my hearing. As I head to the main floor, I ponder where my next dose of the life-saving drug my accursed former concubine made before the elevator shakes violently, knocking me out. I come to briefly after, and find that another zombie shitstorm has begun outside. A recently infected man approaches me as I desperately try to get out, but a brave hero takes the fall for me, getting eaten alive while I'll go on to solve the mystery of Kanye's drug trade. Everything is going to hell in a handbasket fast. Random explosions are going off and zombies are everywhere. Before I escape the stadium, I take a photo of a man being dragged kicking and screaming into a room full of zombies, find a puddle of red in the green room, take another photo of a man pulling a McNut after using Dead Rising 2's much shittier version of the shotgun, and various random B-roll for a taste of some PP. I escape the stadium, finding the courtyard chock full of zombies. I catch a photo of a morbidly obese Freddy Krueger motorboating some chick on the ground, and find an overweight Filipino man briefly trying to save some woman, failing, and shrugging before running off. What a playful little scamp. I wonder what antics he'll get up to in the coming days. I make my way to the nearby zombie shelter, almost getting knocked down by our chubby Filipino friend. What a crazy guy. I'm sure he's going to be a quirky sidekick for me throughout this crazy adventure. These zombies really aren't on top of their game right now. One just stumbles over himself and falls behind me as another pair of them ignore me as I run into the bunker. I briefly use my Frank vision, seeing a crotchety old man behind the thick steel doors and turning it off before anyone notices my glowing eyes. One woman starts freaking out that she can't get onto Instagram or something, while our Filipino buddy starts crying about adobo or something, I don't know. The door opens and the old caretaker of the bunker reveals himself and the extremely profane abbreviation on his jacket. He welcomes the survivors into the shelter, but stops me before I can come in. It seems that the deep state has leaked my status as an infected person out, and he begins to hassle me for it. I show that I have my dose of Zombrex, and instead of calming down, he says that he'll shoot me in the head if need be. Why the fuck is everyone so hostile in Fortune City? He informs me that there isn't any Zombrex in the shelter, and that it'll take 3 days before anyone comes to rescue us. Why 3 days? Because it worked so well for the military during the first outbreak, right? I look around the bunker security room trying to find any Zombrex. The only things I can find are a box of dental treats for dogs and some boxes of high-strength Lorem Ipsum. I'm suddenly walked in on by the hippie chick from the news broadcast earlier. The only redhead chick in gaming to not drive me into a lustful rage informs me that I can find some Zombrex in a nearby mall. All I have to do is get out there. She introduces herself as Stacy, and her name immediately slips my mind. She also hands me a Bluetooth earpiece and tells me to save survivors. Great. Otis 2.0. Yay. I have to save all of the survivors anyways, but her telling me to do so makes me want to do that infinitely less now. I'm off to find an exit, but before I make any serious effort to do so, I take a photo of a random woman's exposed cleavage, only to get no PP whatsoever for it. Off the record's photo hitboxes, or whatever you'd call them, have some weird parameters sometimes. I head to a nearby vent and open it. Why? Because it worked the last time, I guess. It's totally not because I beat in this game like 100 times or whatever. The vent takes me exactly to the mall where I need to go. This is where the game truly begins. I start my journey by picking up a baseball bat and a key to a safety deposit box. If you compare the weapons from the first Dead Rising to the weapons of Off the Record, you'll find that the sequel's weapons lack in damage and utility. The baseball bat only works to smack around a few zombies in front of you, hardly clearing a path and not managing to kill any of them. I assume that this is done in order to encourage players to use the combo weapons, which we'll get to later. Instead of heading to the pharmacy to pick up my next dose of a life-saving drug that I must take in about 3 or so hours, I immediately head to Uranus Zone, reminiscing about the time I went to Uranus Zone with your mom. I'm gonna be real with you here. I had to redo the playthrough for this challenge 3 times. I had a mission glitch out on me for 2 of those playthroughs that lost me half of the survivor population, and the third saw me forgetting to rescue 1 survivor and saving after it was too late to go get him. The upside to this is that I now have knowledge of some secret weapons and safety deposit box keys, which will make this no food playthrough that much easier. Think I'm making it too easy on myself? Well, remember that I'm clinically retarded and I let myself get bitten by zombies way more often than I should, leaving me at low health for a great deal of the run. Anyways, Uranus Zone has a bunch of hidden zombreks. One spawns on the balcony of the park's lounge, but doesn't right now for some reason. I'm not sure why. I guess to prevent sequence breaking. God damn it, I will not let this game prevent me from getting things early. I head into the nearby ocean-themed casino, the Atlantica. Inside one of the fountains is a key for one of the safe deposit boxes in Uranus Zone's bank. I head back into Uranus Zone and take a secret path through the park's roller coaster attraction to find a suitcase full of cash and another safe key. I take my loot to the bank and open up all of the safes that I have keys for. I leave with a dose of zombreks, enough cash to buy me 2 orders of cheese curds from Culver's, and a revolver with 60 rounds of 45 long hole. The weapon calls to me. I feel as if this was fate for me to find it here. The 6-shooter does a massive amount of damage at long range, allowing me to take on zombies and psychos with lower risk to myself. I'm going to need this as my excursion into this poorly named park has left me with a fraction of a health block. Get a good look at it, baby. We're going to be seeing this quite often this run. I leave Uranus Zone and head back into the Royal Flush Plaza, entering the pharmacy. It seems that Antifa has found their way into Fortune City and have begun to protest fascism by raiding a pharmacy and threatening an innocent Karen disguised as a pharmacist. The 3 Antifa goons begin to slowly approach me with their crowbars and tomahawks, but I put them in their place by activating Deadeye mode and shooting them down with my revolver. I leave them to bleed out slowly on the floor as I loot the pharmacy for more zombreks. 1 dose of zombreks will keep the worm in my brain dormant for 24 hours, and I'll need to take a new dose between 7 and 8 AM every day or become a zombie. Simple as that. 2 doses means I have another 48 hours left on Earth, so I'm chilling until then. I talk to the pharmacist, noticing some potential in her. There's a warrior's fighting spirit in her, and I think I can bring it out and take her alongside me in this journey. There's an achievement you can unlock by bringing Denise here to the final psycho fight in the main game, and I feel determined to get it. I head into the nearby Slot Ranch casino and immediately change my mind when she gets jumped by 50 zombies and starts crying like a baby. Too much work. I've already redone this playthrough 3 times, and I don't need her dying or screwing up the spawns of other survivors. You can only have 8 on the map total, and that has screwed me up on my last playthrough. Just like many men in her life prior, I used Denise to make my PP bigger and shove her into a vent and out of my life. Sullivan seems impressed with the chick I brought in. Seriously? I was bringing in hot chicks by like the boatload in the first game, dude. Sullivan, my Pippa in Christ, you need to get higher standards. This woman isn't even mid. Concept of beauty is even further made a mockery of when I go to save the next set of survivors that have spawned. Outside the safe room, a self-proclaimed beautiful woman is fighting off zombies at the nearby Starbucks. Yeah, sure, beautiful. Anyways, Lashandra here is pissed that her man left her to fend for herself against the zombies. I politely ask her to follow me to the safe room, and she thankfully does so without causing a scene. Somehow she missed the fact that her husband was a stone's throw away from her, cowering in a nearby woman's clothing store. I reunite them, taking a photo of their loving embrace before being attacked by an undead atheist. I clear out the zombies nearby the couple and smack Lashandra with my bat. She normally hits Gordon after the hug, presumably for leaving her alone. This preemptive strike will be my stand against spousal abuse. I take the 2 back into the safe house, bringing Gordon in first to ask how long the abuse had been going on for, getting no answer. I take his abuser into the safe room and level up for my efforts. Total Lashandra life, I guess. I might be down at low health now, but at this low level I can quickly level up with low amounts of PP and earn myself a heal. I'm walking on Easy Street now, but I'll find myself taking an on-ramp to Buttfuck Highway very soon. Well, we have a little bit of time before the main story starts off properly. I pick up a skateboard and make my way over to the gift shop at the Fortune City Arena. In the arena is a limited edition Terror is Reality Rockstar Energy crossover leather jacket, and Lord knows that Frank West has got to get that caffeinated drip. After I take my first dose of Zombrex, my photojournalist senses kick into high alert. Something retarded is going on at the Yucatan Casino on the other side of the strip. I hop onto a nearby dirt bike and head over to see what's going on there. Inside this tacky, jungle-themed casino, I spot a man with really unfortunate hair. I try to get his attention before he speeds off, and I'm knocked out by a smelly hand. I wake moments later to find myself at the mercy of a giant man-child that intends to feed me to a tiger. Alright, and I've gone through enough sensitivity training at the behest of my agent, maybe I can talk my way out of this. I offer to feed the tiger some zombies, which brings in the beginnings of a meltdown. Alright, fresh steak. How about that? Tasty, well-done steak. Unfortunately, offering his tiger well-done steak was yet another trigger. He begins having a full-blown autism fit, screaming over the trivial matter of how I cook my steaks. His screeching awakens the tiger, pissing it off and starting a boss fight. Ted and Snowflake are the game's first psychopath duo to fight. Ted is a retard with a handgun, and Snowflake is an incredibly pissed off tiger. Despite how dangerous this pair would be realistically, the fight is rather easy, if not a tad time-consuming. Ted is quickly defeated by a volley of 45 long colt, where he falls to the ground and, in his final moments on Earth, offers himself as a meal to his tiger waifu. Snowflake completely ignores him after the cutscene, however, and immediately sprints towards my freshly leveled up ass. I'm definitely gonna need that extra health block. Instead of unloading the rest of my revolver into the tiger, I break into her enclosure and find a bunch of perfectly well done steaks for her to eat. I recognize that saving a member of an endangered species will get me all of the unshaven pita muff I could ever want. Either that or I could sell her fangs to the Chinese for boner pills, whichever comes first, I guess. Taming her will be my path to both. Feeding Snowflake 3 steaks will immediately end the boss fight and instantly recruit her as a survivor. I wish I could give you a surefire method to quickly tame her each time, but unfortunately it feels as if it's completely random as to when she'll stop to eat anything you throw at her. Your best bet is to throw a steak in her direction while she's far away from you, catch her attention, and then immediately lose her as she runs towards you. If you do it right, she'll chill out and eat the steak you left for her. It's a coin toss if it'll work out, and this time I luck out and manage to get her tamed relatively quickly. With Snowflake in the party, I followed the smell of freshly shit pants over to a nearby back room, where the man who I saw before getting knocked out is cowering. Lenny here seems to be some sort of human-ape hybrid from the way he speaks. I knew it was only a matter of time before the Russians could get that technology working. Lenny appreciates the rescue from the tiger and offers to show me where to turn the power back on in the casino. We're running short on time before I've got to get back to the safe room, but I'll be damned before I let an animatronic get me with the power out. Lenny takes me to the power room that just so happens to be next to a giant poster of a man being brutally spring-locked in a Fredbear suit. Springtrap is gonna get me in this casino if we don't get the fuck out. Now! The lights are back on, I grab Lenny and Snowflake and skedaddle. We leave the Yucatan and enter the food court next door. Time is of the essence here, as I only have an in-game hour, which is about 5 minutes in real time, to get back to the safe room, and these guys seem to have lead in their pants. I skateboard my way to the end of this exceedingly long part of the map and wait for Lenny and Snowflake to arrive. A tactic for quickly rescuing survivors in the first game is to run far away from them and wait for them by the next loading zone. Doing this will save time, as zombies will not spawn near them so they can run towards you with no issues. It seems that this strategy doesn't work in this game, however, as the zombies latch onto Lenny as I wait by the exit. I leave a waypoint by the door and save Lenny. As he and Snowflake head over to the waypoint, I head back into the food court to grab some food to heal Lenny and maybe myself. I see a delicious rack of ribs on the floor. Ribs for me.
Bombs in the food. 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 Bombs in the food.
They're coming to get you,
Bombs in
Frank.
the food.
Coming to your eyes.
Okay, ribs for Lenny and nothing for me. What the fuck happened to my brain to cause this? Unfortunately, Lenny doesn't get any ribs, and instead gets jumped by even more zombies while I try to prepare a wheelchair to carry him in, and dies. Thank God this game has a checkpoint system. Second time around, I decide to take my time and actually escort my survivors to the next area. But by the time we reach the Royal Flush Plaza, I've got no time to wait for them. I hop onto my skateboard and speed over back to the safe room. If I head through a loading screen without the survivors, they'll be stuck in the area and continuously lose health. Thankfully this time, they're both at full health, so I can leave them in the royal flush while the adults speak in the safe house. I skate over, humming the Aquabats My Skateboard the whole time, doing an ollie into the vent and skating through the whole HVAC system into the safe room. Stacy's in the cafeteria having breakfast and watching the news. I try to hide my mental illness by pouring myself a cup of coffee, ignoring the feeling of writhing worms within the cup. I forget the shaking coffee cup in my hand when I notice a sexy Asian chick on the TV. The Asian babe shows footage of a member of Stacy's hippie cult releasing the zombies. I use this as a convenient excuse to forget the coffee and immediately call Stacy sus for being part of a known terrorist group. She insists that it's a false flag and that her zombie cult is being set up. Whatever. I decide to take up the case so that I can get some time together with that sexy reporter who happens to be in the nearby hotel. A sexy babe and a career revival, all at the cost of solving an easily solvable crime? Frank West is back. Let's get that shmoney. Somehow, the game considered Snowflake saved despite being miles away from me when I entered the security room. Cool, whatever, I don't care. I need to go save Lenny, but Sullivan insists on telling me some stupid-ass old man stuff before I leave. An hour of boring bullshit later, and he finally lets me go after giving me a key to every maintenance room in the city. I guess I can use it. When I get back to the Royal Flesh Plaza, a group of zombies blocks my way to the exit so I can save Lenny. Instead of using the shotgun in my inventory, I decide to get into the maintenance room next to me and see what's up. I walk in and see the setup for an obvious Walking Dead reference, although I'll have to use nails instead of barbed wire. I craft myself a spiked bat, a massive upgrade to the normal baseball bat. It does heavy damage to zombies and can clear paths through crowds in a pinch. The bat is kind of a jack-of-all-trades weapon. It does a lot of things well, but not perfectly. Although we may acquire more powerful combo cards in the future, the easily accessible bat will be a constant part of our inventory this run. With that, I take the hybrid freak Lenny to safety and head off for the next part of our run. Tracy, or Teresa, or whatever her name is, gave me a heads up that there is a man hitting the slots in the nearby Americana casino. The smell of fresh pee-pee in the water entices me to check this out. Just as she said, there is a man gambling away at the slots. Bill has pissed away about 20 grand of his children's inheritance on this single slot machine and will not follow me until I pay him what he had lost, and an extra 5k to boot. The young, innocent, and significantly more mentally ill version of myself that had played this game on release in 2011 couldn't fathom somebody that greedy. Surely it had to be a joke. I had yet to know the true nature of the boomer. Look into Bill's eyes. Those are the eyes of men who have sold their families' futures to the Chinese for some time at the golf course. You want retribution? Go to your local old folks' home with a can full of gasoline and pour it into... Okay, maybe going a little too crazy there. I stopped seething over my grandfather long enough to get Bill back to the safe house and get myself over half a level's worth of PP. Now onto the Fortune City Hotel, where the sexy Asian babe was reporting. I enter the lobby, picking up the trail for the reporter by finding her press badge on the floor. I'm distracted by the light scent left by her quarry and almost get snuck up on by a zombie. A shot rings out and the zombie falls. My savior is revealed to be the sexy Asian babe herself, Rebecca, who most boobily waltzes over to me. She introduces herself as if I hadn't just spent the last 5 minutes gathering all the information I can by reading her press pass. Channel 6 studios better have some easily traversable air ducts. Anyways, to keep the conversation going, I try to ask her where she got the video of that hippie dude blowing up the zombie pens. She declines to show me, but I tantalize her with some pictures of my own to show her if she lets me follow her to a security room with possible footage while the camera ogles her ass. I convince her to play a game the teenage neighbor girl taught me in the 1st grade when we get there, and then we're off. For some reason, Rebecca asks me if I need a bathroom break. I head into a stall in the women's restroom, ready to play 7 Minutes in Heaven with her, but the only thing I can hear is the sound of heavy breathing coming from outside the stall. This creeps me the hell out, and I get the hell out of the bathroom. Was she planning on listening to me take a shit in there? Anyways, we ignore that horribly creepy moment and start making our way to the security room in the arena. We head through the South Plaza, where I blow Rebecca up with a propane tank for fun, engage some Antifa goons trying to start the Fortune City Autonomous Zone, and make it to the arena's entrance, where I embarrass myself and forget how to push a button. My incompetence is rewarded when I get a nice view of Rebecca's ass when she climbs under the gate. Inside the arena, we push our way through a crowd of zombies and reach the security room, where we get another gratuitous ass shot while Rebecca picks the lock. I restrain myself and don't spank the ass of the hot chick, and we enter the security room, only to find the entire security staff dead and all of the computers in the room trashed. Things are getting really uncanny here. Dead security guards, broken cameras. All the evidence is pointing towards Springtrap coming back once again to haunt me. Rebecca begins to ask about our I'll show you mine game, but I'm rudely interrupted by Stacy. She's sobbing over the phone, and all I can make out is, Sullivan's gonna kick me out and protect zombified trans kids. I sigh and leave as Rebecca realizes that the Stacy in my ear is the Stacy that has been screaming about zombie rights or something over the last few years on Twitter. I miss Brad and Jesse. They were competent people I could trust to not fight like children when I left the security room. I make it back to the safe house and stop the argument, and decide to take pity on the ZJW and convince Sullivan that Stacy's gay little hippie club is being set up. I mention that the footage in the arena security room is wiped, not mentioning that the spirit of an undead child killer in a yellow bunny suit was the culprit, and suggest that there is a conspiracy afoot. Rebecca comes in and blesses us with yet another glorious ass shot. This calms Sullivan and he backs off. Rebecca introduces herself to Tracy, and they start yapping about stupid chick things that I don't care about. I leave them to yap at each other, while I go off to save more survivors. Sullivan recommends I keep my nose clean, and I tell him that Frank West shoots snot out of his nose wherever and at whoever he pleases. As previously stated, it's time to go save some more survivors. I head out into the Royal Flush Plaza, quickly making myself a powerful weapon by taping a machete to a broom. This is the pull weapon, a combo weapon unlocked by default. It cuts through any nearby zombie like hot butter and does a nice bit of damage to bosses. It's going to be another mainstay in my inventory for the rest of the game, as it is easily craftable anytime I head into the Royal Flush Plaza. Outside in the nearby Silver Strip is Chad, an old cowboy with a shotgun that he very obviously doesn't know how to use. I can't recruit him until I clear out most of the nearby zombies, so with the pull weapon, spiked bat, and multiple acts of friendly fire on Chad, we clear out the zombies and have some time to talk. Thankfully, the knocks to the head I gave him made him forget why he's in such pain and asked me to help him find his wife, who he had last seen in front of the arena. Don't worry, Pops, we'll help you find your wife. I hop into the nearby Goofy Ah Nigga-mobile, a form of transportation that will hold up to 8 survivors at the cost of making annoying-ass fart sounds and playing this Goofy Ah music non-stop. Thankfully, no hoes were watching us. I take Chad for a quick breakfast at Denny's, murdering the Antifa goons inside and treating him to pizzas that disgust and horrify me. I managed to hold down my disgust for touching this food long enough to heal Chad to almost full health. I felt the worms crawl over my hands while holding that pizza. They were trying to get into my skin, burrowing underneath my fingernails. Thankfully, I have nothing in my stomach to throw up, so we continue to find his wife with no distractions. And find her we do. Chad's wife Doris is fighting off zombies right where Chad said we'd find her. I reunite them, getting a particularly erotic photo of Doris's forearm as the two hug. With the old man and the 28-year-old feisty grandmother in my care, we hop into the Goofy Ah Nigga-mobile and head back into the Silver Strip, through the strip sex shop, and into the Palisades Mall from an alleyway behind the porno store. At the other end of the mall is a knife shop in which yet another old man and his lover are holding off a horde of zombies. With the help of my pole weapon and Chad's shotgun, we are able to convince the two to come back to the safe house to continue their Mega Man ERP in a secluded room in the safe house. You may be wondering, why take all of these sick freaks in one go? Well, my dear sweet beloved viewer, I have a few psycho fights to deal with tonight, with the next coming up very soon. I'm rescuing these 4 all at once instead of one group after the other, so I can quickly level up and hopefully get a block into her health all at once. Here, let me pat you on the head. That was an excellent question. Now go back to whatever it is you were doing, my most valued and cherished viewer. Anyways, I lead the double date group through the Yucatan, into the food court and Slot Ranch Casino, and through the Royal Flush Plaza to the safe room, with the survivors coming out mostly no worse for wear. While I was rescuing the group of disgusting perverts, I got 2 calls about a woman violently throwing up in the Americana Casino, and somebody illegally riding a motocross bike through Fortune Park. The motocross guy's gonna be a psycho, I just know it. I decide to save the vomiting woman first, so I head into the Americana security room to find this showgirl spewing a warm and inviting shower of vomit all over the place. I take some photos of her for, extra PP, and get her to allow me to carry her back to the safe room for some more PP. Before heading out to Fortune Park to confront the motocross rider, I restock my inventory with a fresh skateboard and make myself another pole weapon. Okay, you know what, this is a stupid fucking name. We're just gonna call it the knife room from now on, okay? Cool, whatever. Anyways, I head outside through the Slot Ranch for some reason, and head into the Fortune Park from the Silver Strip. Jenny, or whatever her name is, lets me know that somebody here was doing 45 in a school zone out in the park and that the evildoer must be stopped. My investigation has me discover a bike with chainsaws haphazardly bolted onto the front of it, the perfect vehicle for a busy school zone. I contemplate stealing the bike before the owner appears and prevents me from jacking the bike. All seems fine as he calms down and starts making conversations about crazy people. Unfortunately, the child corpse he had taped to his back tells me I'm talking to yet another crazy person. Well, statistically speaking, I've probably saved 1 or 2 sickos without knowing, so I try convincing him to come to the safe house with me. He informs me that he can't go as he has been wasting valuable doses of Zombrex on this child's corpse and intends to continue to do so. I try to get him to stop wasting both my time and incredibly rare drugs, but accidentally piss him off when I brush my hand against his daughter's leg. Great. Him screaming at me and calling me a pedophile are just what I need to rehabilitate my image. The fight with Chuck begins. The fight sees Chuck chase me around on his slice cycle and try to bisect me with it. My first attempt goes well, as he ends up getting caught on the railing of a nearby planter. I think, great, he's trapped and I can wrap up this boss fight quickly. Unfortunately, the ghost of Capcom Vancouver heard my thoughts and decided that I don't deserve to have it that easy. The spirits push me flat onto my back as Chuck backs up and makes a funny JoJo reference by ripping off my face under the tire of his bike. I've never seen a glitch like that happen before. Normally, the game gives you a brief moment of invulnerability after being attacked, but this time my entire health bar gets wiped. Damn, those Canadians were doing this to me. Next time around, I played a bit more safe. Chuck will charge at me, and I'll dodge to try and bait him to hit the railing, giving me plenty of time to attack him while staying as far away from the back of his bike as possible. We do this dance for a while, trading blows and unkind words with each other, but eventually he gets caught on his last railing, and I use a claymore for the final blow. Chuck falls off of his bike, and the rotting corpse strapped to his back messily flies everywhere. Gross. He starts babbling nonsense about protecting the even more dead child as I steal the keys to his bike. I turn around to steal the bike, but him, his corpse companion, and his bike are all gone. Defeating Chuck will not give you the key to his motorbike, but instead the key to a trailer on the other side of the strip that has a bike workbench there. I'll use it later in the run, but for right now we need to stock up on weapons for the coming day. I appreciate some art before stuffing another revolver down my pants in Uranus Zone. Next, I head into the Atlantica and climb up onto a secret area where I find an LMG and assault rifle just sitting up there. Stealing these has foiled a government false flag attack and given me 2 of the most powerful weapons for a later fight. I celebrate my heroism by playing a pirate-themed Wheel of Fortune game, winning a total of $75,000 and 5,000 PP. This would be a decent way to make money, but after winning all of the prizes available, the game's cost to play goes up to $25,000, making it essentially useless. There are better ways to increase your PP for money in Fortune City. Before I leave the Atlantica for better things, I take a wet, slippery ride on top of a dolphin that really doesn't want me there. My efforts reward me with 1,000 PP and strange new feelings about dolphins that I don't have the time to really go through right now. I head back into the safe room and stare intently at Stacy, trying desperately to commit her name to memory. I know full well that after I stop seeing her name tag, I'll forget again. What's-her-name finally gets uncomfortable at my intense staring and brings up some random security footage of a man dragging a woman into a bathroom. I ready myself for a hell of a show before realizing that this was the stoner that Kanye was giving drugs and money to. What's-her-face starts freaking out cause fuck-ass here is part of their lame-ass little club and this doesn't look good on them. She immediately starts blaming others and cries out about how they're innocent despite taking money from Soros because the revolution needs funds or whatever commie nonsense she has to say. Whatever. I can go get this guy to get the scoop as to why he was trading drugs with Kanye, and so that I can put the thugs that had beat me up earlier in prison. A woman may be locked in a public restroom with a deranged drug addict and needs my help, but I'm going to need prep time for this. I head into the slot ranch from the Royal Flush, taking a photo of a guy working an information booth, minding his own business, and then seeing if a new moose persona would work out for me. My whole horse phase ran its course after a year or so of running around in nothing but my underwear, and the horse head got me put on the sex offender registry. How was I supposed to know that the Hardee's I used to frequent was in a school zone? I'm a national hero, and I can't enjoy a fucking double Western bacon cheeseburger in my goddamn skivvies. A fucking joke. Anyway, I decide against being a moose, as that would be letting the Canadians win. Instead, I use the face crusher move on a police officer, take his shotgun and another hidden assault rifle, and head into the Palisades Mall. As soon as I load in, I hear the violent sobbing of some pansy coming from upstairs. Said pansy is some artist crying about AI art threatening his job. Great, it's one of those. I offer to rescue him, but he's freaking out because his emergency commissions aren't selling and he won't be able to make rent for the third month in a row. I commission him to draw a POV drawing of Irene Sanders from Desert Rose, inviting me into bed with her, knowing full well that I'll get my art in a year at the earliest if I'm lucky. He joins the party and immediately proves his worth by decking an Antifa goon right in the mouth. I dodge the paint-huffing maniac, drawing my shooting iron quickly and ending the varmint right there. This useless little freak might not be as useless as I thought. I hand him a shotgun, deputizing him into my stoner-killing posse on the spot. Before we leave the Palisades, I pick up a 50 cal rifle from the gun store and quickscope 2 Antifa foot soldiers for the laughs. My carelessness while running through crowds of zombies has left me with but a single block of health. Saving our fruity little artist here might get me a full heal, but I have something in mind for him and the other 6 survivors on the map right now. Here's a fun little tip for off the record. The game will only allow you one LMG. If you're carrying an LMG in your inventory when you head to the CIA's dead drop in the Atlantica, it won't spawn in. However, a neat way around this rule is by using a survivor to hold onto the LMG and heading into the area again. The game doesn't count the LMG being held by the survivor against the spawn, so you can get as many LMGs for your survivors as you can. I use this exploit in order to arm the next group of survivors. I take our fruity little artist into the South Plaza where I leave him in the hotel lobby after feeding his fat, disgusting face with a sickening cheeseburger combo that somebody had left lying around and order him to wait behind the counter. I do this so that he won't get attacked by zombies and so that maybe, just maybe, he'll get the hint that he needs a real job. As I leave our intrepid artist to his own devices, I meet with a group of nerds huddled over a D&D battle map. I think I just found the CIA's Manchurian candidates. One activation code and these guys would immediately jump into action and mow down a crowd of innocent people. Excellent. These dorks will be incredibly useful to me. I use my Inland Empire skill to deduce that their activation code is Girls in the Safe House. I pass the check and the code works, immediately bringing these MKUltra victims into action. I arm them and tell them that their persecutor will be a greasy man in a public restroom that reeks of the poo smoke. I take my gang of CIA assets, the artist, and head into Uranus Zone with them. The last members of my posse are having an argument in a gift shop. The two are a pair of comedians, arguing over who's the funniest. Neither of them will leave the store until the matter between the two is settled. Sure, I'll solve this problem, whatever. Hit me with your best shot. Both of them tell me jokes that are so obscene I can't even show you what they're saying without YouTube taking me down. I'm disgusted and appalled by what they had both just told me, but I still need to save these sickos if I'm going to complete this challenge. I hand the trophy off to the one who told the least disgusting of the jokes and anger the other. I know money soothes all issues, so I hand him some pocket change and give him an assault rifle for the coming battle. Before we go to confront the stoner freak, I take advantage of the survivor item limit bypass and grab another 6-shooter from the bank. Now, onto the stoner. I head into the bathroom and I cannot describe how bad the smell is. Unclean public restroom smell, blood, piss, weed smoke, it's hell on earth in here. The stoner seems to be a little too high, tweaking and covered in shit. I try to ask him about Kanye's drug trade, but all he can talk about is some communist nonsense. He admits he started the outbreak because he was way too high and now seeks to become a heavy hitter in Kanye's cartel. What other synthetic crap he has been smoking has fully rotted his brain. He should know that this operation is being run by celebrities. He commits to the whole evil thing by slitting the throat of an innocent college girl and signs his death warrant. As soon as the cutscene ends, I sick my posse on him. I don't even manage to get a hit on him because in 10 seconds flat, the team annihilates the stoner. This is the Dead Rising world, so if he can go into the stall and save his game, he can save Scum and figure out a solution. Unfortunately for him, he runs into an occupied stall, and like many truckers before him, he gets a lifelong infection from another man's mouth in a bathroom stall. He can't handle the thought of trying to afford Zombrex in a country without universal healthcare, and offs himself right then and there. What a pussy. I'd like to quickly mention another cool survivor fun fact. Psychopaths in this game have a sort of cooldown on the amount of damage you can do to them, so you can't wipe out their health instantly with a mannequin torso like in the first game. Survivors, however, are not subject to this rule. Bringing in my death squad here was a time and health saving measure. I thank my posse for their work by taking them to the safe room and asking the lobotomized shooters, especially the one in the dress, to avoid massacring anyone in the safe room. I'd go yell at Tracy about having a loser like that stoner selling drugs on Kanye's behalf in their organization, but there's a survivor that I missed in my last playthrough that I'm not going to let screw things up for me again. As I make my way over to the Silver Strip, I noticed I'm holding 2 revolvers. I use a 6-gun to stop criminals, save citizens in danger, and deputize citizens to take down said criminals, all while I try to bring down a drug syndicate in my town. I know that I'm being called for something greater. I'm the goddamn sheriff of this town. I put on a pair of yellow sunglasses so that I can see everything with a western yellow filter and head upstairs to crown myself the cowboy prince of Fortune City. Playing cowboy dress-up took a hot minute, and I'm going to lose the next survivor if I don't head over there soon. I saddle up and head over to the Silver Strip's world-famous dark and seedy alleyway to find a paramedic trying to resuscitate a man who I knew at first glance was dead. Before you ask, there's no saving the dude on the floor. So sad. I get the paramedic to come with me because I'm going to need help with the next survivor in a bar next door. He confides in me that he was unable to resist the charms of a sexy zombie that was lying on the floor and went for it. Unfortunately, he hadn't checked to see if she was one of the annoying jump scare zombies and got a bite taken out of his neck for not paying attention. Without condoning or condemning, I understand. I spare Zombrex to keep the guy from turning while I take him and the paramedic to the safe room with no major issues arising. A major issue does arrive when I get back to the safe room and ask Becky what the fuck is going on and why are there drug addicts in her cult. She claims her cult's innocence, blaming Kanye for the stoner freaking out. I call her racist even though I completely agree that Kanye has something to do with it, but before I can give her a piece of my mind, she notices a train being loaded in the maintenance tunnels. The thought of an epic train tunnel ride distracts me and I head off to have a fun choo-choo ride as Jenny sobs over her zombie cult getting cancelled. Scoop 3-2 begins, making a reference to a banger Poets of the Fall album. The quickest way to get to the scoop location in the tunnels is to head to the Palisades and take the entrance to the Fortune City Utilidors there. As I head to the fun train ride, I encounter 2 men hanging on for dear life on the 2nd floor. Somehow this constitutes a life and death situation, despite the fact that falling from the 2nd floor would only take like a block of health away at most. To save these 2 dunderbrains, you just need to set a big teddy bear down below them for a safe landing. Hold your horses, I'll only be Oh, that's why we save scum when we can, I suppose. With the hanging duo of Steve Harvey and Ray Liotta saved, like seriously, am I the only one who thinks they look like these guys? I head down to the train tunnel to find a most shocking sight. It looks like Kanye is down there with his gang of henchmen with glitchy textures. I tell my survivors to piss off to the safe room by themselves and take photos of the henchmen hauling tools and what I'm sure are boxes of drugs for Kanye. One of them notices the thin and sexy sheriff in the corner taking photos. He enforces Kanye's no flash photography rule as Kanye hops on a train to run off. Outlaws on a train, huh? Looks like this is a job for Sheriff West, yeehaw! I hop onto the train to stop the evildoers, totally not cracking my ribs when I land on my chest. I engage Kanye and his gang of drug-pushing outlaws with my peacekeeper. These guys feel more dangerous than the soldiers from the first game. They can wipe out your health fast with their automatic weapons, and they take no prisoners. Luckily, my 6-gun can drop them in one headshot. If only I could aim worth a damn, though. The first outlaws give me a little trouble, taking away some of my valuable health blocks. I quickly shake the rust off of my trigger finger when I flawlessly headshot the rest of Kanye's gang. This earns me a level up, and I celebrate by dropping a bunch of money on a random slot machine. When I reach the front of the train, Kanye comes out and congratulates me for taking out his weakest henchman. I swear to him that I will bring him to justice, but all Kanye does is laugh and detach the part of the train I was on and escapes the thin, skinny arm of the law. For now. I call back to let Terry know that Kanye is pushing drugs that might have caused the stoner to trip out and cause the outbreak, and she cheers as she's not going to jail. Whatever, babe, I got a rogue celebrity to stop. It appears that Ray Liotta and Steve Harvey couldn't find their way to the safe room despite my instructions. Somehow, though, they managed to follow me through the train battle. Whatever, just another day with these sick fucks. I take them out of the tunnels and into the South Plaza, where we encounter a pair of construction workers fighting off zombies. Sure, you guys can come along too, whatever, eat shit, I don't fucking care. I take them through the South Plaza, then the Arena and the Americana before getting into the Royal Flush Plaza and then into the Safe House, netting me a level up for saving these rejects. Sullivan briefly drops his gruff persona and lets me know that he was worried for me. What a tsundere. What can I say, folks? We love our Sullivan, don't we? I'd love to stay and do my good deed for the day by listening to Sullivan's security guard stories about helping lost children find their parents or holding shoplifters until the real law comes to save the day, but there's work to be done. I've got 2 psychos and a bunch of survivors to save before the main quest starts properly for the day. I start off day 2 by making myself a broom knife in the Royal Flush and heading out to the food court to investigate the chick in the security room's report of a chef in an Italian restaurant. I head to a restaurant with an impossible to pronounce name and am met with a most wonderful aroma. For the first time in days, the thought of food doesn't immediately disgust me. I meet the head chef, Antoine. He's covered in red 40 and happily welcomes me to enjoy a nice meal. This is great. It looks like he's cooking a hearty stew for me to enjoy. My mouth is watering as he shows me that he has the freshest and my most favorite ingredients. This all sounds great. I ask him though to use a little bit less butter as I am lactose intolerant, and this is where it all comes crashing down. Antoine takes offense to my suggestion. What does an anorexic know about the cooking, he asks. It seems that I've offended his honor as an Italian, and he brandishes a knife and begins to attack me. Well, it looks like I'm not getting a tasty 3-course Italian meal today. Cell Dweller's hardest banger begins to play as I draw my iron and blast Antoine. Using a firearm against Antoine isn't super ideal as he will take less damage after your first shot. Thankfully, my 6-shooter does a great deal of damage, so I can finish this in a timely manner if I wait until his invulnerability period ends. The big issue is that he can go to a variety of tasty-looking dishes around the restaurant and heal whatever damage I do. I've got to deal as much damage as I can before he can heal or throw a heat-seeking cast iron pan at me. Anyways, I dodge Antoine's attacks, interrupt his healing, and finish the fight by shooting the only chef to cater to my taste in the ass. Antoine tries to get back onto his feet, somehow managing to fall into a fryer full of hot oil. Wait, oil? Was he using seed oils in this food? Shit, I can't eat this. That son of a bitch was trying to poison me. Like seriously, look what seed oils do to your body, dude. This fucker deserved what he got and worse. Before we can leave this den of poison, I decide to free the chef's finest ingredient, hoping she didn't hear me talk about how I would have preferred her served with less butter. She turns out to be a fan of mine and refuses to leave until I grab her boyfriend or whatever so that they can get an autograph. Sure, not like I'm down to 1 health block and desperately need the PP I'd get from recruiting you or anything. I head back into the food court, risking my life for her inane request. I find her boyfriend cowering above a nearby Burger King and tell him that his hoe was acting crazy and that he needs to set her straight. He abides by the words of Frank West and follows me to her. While recruiting him doesn't give me enough PP for a level up, I manage to kill my 1000 zombie, giving me a massive bonus of 20,000 PP, pushing me towards that mythical level up. I give Jasper an LMG so that Cinda knows that his pimp hand is truly strong, scaring her into joining our party. This is the beginning of a new posse. Welcome to Deputies Jasper and Cinda. The next survivors to rescue are in the Silver Strip. Some shitty local metalcore band has taken the opportunity to perform somewhere that isn't a friend's house party. I break their hearts by telling them that their music sucks and that they need to leave. They try to prove me wrong by performing their best song, only succeeding in blowing the heads of every zombie nearby and giving me a massive headache. They agree that maybe it's time to throw in the towel and join Sheriff West's posse. I arm everybody with the CIA's false flag weapons in the Atlantica and grab 1 more 6-shooter from the bank before pumping some sweet Zombricks into myself and piling everybody into the goofy Nigga-mobile so we can go confront our next evildoer. There's a chapel on the Silver Strip in which a Reddit mod has donned himself in BDSM gear and has been attacking women. It seems that his father is his accomplice, using demonic powers to levitate himself and marry his sick and twisted son to these poor women so that he may sexually abuse them. These marriages have not been ordained in the eyes of God, and marital rape is a sin. Sheriff West sentences you to death, buddy. Killing your demonically possessed father won't win you any brownie points in the eyes of the law. The fight begins with my deputies forming a firing squad and taking out a bunch of the Redditor's health. I distract the beast, leading him away from my posse and giving them clear shots. I don't even need to lay a finger on him as my deputies down both the Reddit mod into oblivion. One of his wives is possessed by the demon who gave his father his powers and punishes him for failing to give another sacrifice by eating his eyes as the chapel says trans rites, the finishing piece of the disgusting and demonic events that happened in here. My team exorcise the demon while I recruit the monster's last victim. One ride in the goofy-on nigga-mobile later, and everybody is put safe and sound into the safe room, netting me a cheeky level up. My woman in fear detector goes off as I sense the most wondrous smell coming from the Fortune City Hotel. Before I can get out of the back rooms, I meet a horde of zombies and yet another pissed off wasp. Sheriff West's quick draw reflexes never fail as I slap the wasp out of the air. Killing it triggers a classic autism meltdown in the zombies and causes them to lose their heads. Queen zombies now spawn in the game. Thank God, I just wish they had been here earlier. Anyways, I head to the hotel through the South Plaza. I strip down to my underwear because the smell of a woman's fear just does that to me, as I find the source of the smell hiding behind some bushes. There's a particularly dirty joke to make here, but I just can't bring it together. I think it'll take somebody funnier and smarter to do that. Anyways, our little nudist here is petrified of the zombies, but thinks that she's in the presence of another one of her kind. Yeah, sure, that's why I'm in my underwear, huh? I get her to come along by agreeing to give her a piggyback ride. I don't want my back to smell like fish for the rest of the game, so I head back and put my discarded clothes back on. Rescuing her is as easy as pie, as carrying survivors on your back has the same benefits of grab immunity that the first game had. She makes it back to the safe house and continues to refuse to put on clothes. I've got quite some time before the next main quest starts off properly. Once that scoop activates, I'm going to be fighting tooth and nail until it's over. I prepare myself by heading to the Platinum Strip. I head into the movie theater and realize something as I look at a poster for some shitty sci-fi movie. If you tape enough precious gems to the end of a flashlight, you can make a lightsaber out of it. Don't question the logic, it just works. I go to the novelty store next door to the theater in order to meet one of the Antifa members who started a store selling shitty combo weapons and Zombrex. I'll never actually use the stores for anything. I can't use combo weapons that I don't have the cards for, and buying Zombrex isn't allowed either. I just do this so that I can get the quest to unlock the stores out of my quest log. Anyways, I channel the Force and use a bunch of valuable gems on the floor to make a lightsaber. It's a friggin' lightsaber, does it really need any introduction, right? It slices through zombies like butter and does a lot of damage to psychos. Unfortunately, its moveset kinda sucks, so I can only cut through a few zombies at a time at a somewhat slow pace. Nonetheless, it will prove as another mainstay in my inventory from here on out. Alongside the lightsaber, I take a nail bomb that I had crafted and head to my next survivor. I've got to be careful as I got too careless and lost a bunch of health. This is a great deal of the playthrough for me, skittishly running through crowds of zombies in order to keep myself from getting one-tapped by a zombie. Inside Uranus Zone, I find the model for the nerd face emoji surrounded by the undead. I use my nail bomb to shred any zombies nearby, wiping out the rest with the queen for good measure and recruit this little piece of trash. I get this goofy-aw little nigga into the goofy-aw nigga-mobile and take him through the Americana. Running through there is as tense as any misstep, any miscalculation on how long I'll be stuck in an attack animation means instant death. Thankfully though, I make it through with no issues, but this won't be the norm for long. Saving this dork nets me enough PP for a level up and 45 grand when I threaten him with a swirly in the save room's bathroom. I've still got a decent amount of time until the scoop starts, so I saddle up and head over to the Palisades to investigate a corpse in a mascot suit and try to find the murderer. As I investigate the body, a distraught bystander who reveals himself to be the deceased husband tries to get me to bring her back to life. He sees them both as toys that can be brought back and fixed like nobody's business. And yeah, sure, why not? Okay, yeah, that didn't work. These mascot people are always sick in the head. I wish the government would stop genetically engineering them. The deceased husband loses it, manifesting flamethrowers from nowhere and attacking me with the fury of the first piss after a night with a sketchy chick. Fighting Slappy here revolves around me hiding in a nearby store and dodging his fiery balls of pain until I can return fire. This is an easy fight, albeit a bit time-consuming. I finally put this disgusting abomination down. One last mascot man to terror. God damn it, I thought we were done with that. After the fight, I get the combo card for the flamethrower, take one of Slappy's flamethrowers, and head back to the safe room as the next main quest mission begins. Sullivan is jealous of me as I have 2 women in the security room waiting for me. Sullivan, you can have the annoying hippie, but if you so much as glance at Rebecca's massive chest, I will eviscerate you with my bare hands. I can do it too, I've done it before. I head into the security room and let the hoes know that Kanye gave the stoner some whack-ass gas station weed so that he'd start tweaking and unleash the zombies for some reason. We ponder as to why he would do this only for a second until we get our answer. Tina informs us that members of the Kanye gang are robbing vaults all over the city. Rebecca walks off to go be sexy but useless somewhere else as I vow to stop these bank heists. Now that Kanye's evil plans are in motion, members of his outlaw crew have spawned all over the map, drilling into the vaults of the Americana, Slot Ranch, and Yucatan casinos. I've got to stop these sick bastards. I start at the nearest casino, the Americana. The gang members give me no trouble here, but I'm attacked by multiple zombies because I seem to have forgotten that standing in the middle of a crowd of the undead will lead to me losing health. I knock out the first of the gang's drills, taking 75 grand as a thank you from the deceased management staff of this casino. This will be nothing compared to the other vaults I have to save. The vault in the Slot Ranch is guarded by what feels like way more outlaws than the other one. I waste the ammo in my revolver, leaving me with only a weak flamethrower to defend myself. I end up getting murdered by the goons and sent back to my last save. Next time around, I use my ammo wisely, taking out most of the goons from a distance and using my Deadeye skill to wipe the final ones out with the last few shots of my gun. I break the drill and take my $60,000 commission and leave. I need to restock my weapons if I'm going to defeat these Payday Crew rejects. Outside Uranus Zone, I rip off Rambo by making a bow with explosive arrows. This will be a good way to clear out zombies from an area and net me a good amount of PP. Hopefully this will be effective on the thieves as well. Next, I hit up one vault in Fortune City, not being actively broken into, and restock my 6-shooter. Instead of heading to the Yucatan to stop the heist, I head into the Palisades and start to work out. Look at me, I haven't eaten in a few days, but I'm so fucking fat. I do an intense workout, managing to burn off more fat off my body and get closer to the beautiful princess I know is deep below all of this fat. I decide to finish off my workout with a fun water slide ride right next to the gym. All of my work at the gym and the fun at the water slide gives me enough PP for a level up. On top of that, I unlock the combo card for the Defiler, a particularly useful weapon. Thank God, as I would not have survived another fight with the gang at the level of health I was at. Before I leave the Palisades, I go to the Venus touch? More like the penis touch. Anyway, inside I find a woman who seems to have gotten a little too distracted in the tanning booth. She's dehydrated and asks me for a drink so that she won't immediately die. I pull a trick one of the co-hosts of the channel pulled on me once and hand her an entire bottle of Grey Goose instead of water. She drank the entire bottle down, likely making the issue worse. But despite her inebriated and incapacitated state, I listen to her about a shortcut in a nearby store into the Royal Flush Plaza. I take her upstairs into a woman's clothing store and... oh god. The shortcut's through. The perfume department!
Let's do it!
It leaves us right next to the safe room, but man, I think I would have rather dealt with the armed gang members and zombies instead of that mess. I can't imagine the perfume feels good on the first-degree burns on Lynette's skin. Saving her nets me more PP and a useful, if not torturous, shortcut to the other side of the city. Taking the shortcut again, I quickly make it back to the Palisades and head into the Yucatan. Despite the heaviest amount of force gathered here, I used my gunslinger powers to deliver headshots to all of Kanye's goons. I take $185,000 that nobody will miss and destroy the last drill. I thought I had foiled the rapper's plans, but Kimmy in the security room informs me of one more drill outside of the Atlantica casino. Before I head out, I grab a Nerf gun and a tiki torch to create a good PP farming weapon. I head inside of Ted's room in the tiger enclosure to use the workbench and holy shit! The PP this weapon will give me was not worth seeing the sick shit I saw in there. I head back out into the Silver Strip, minus the shred of innocence I didn't know I still had. My trauma leaves me vulnerable as a zombie and two of Kanye's outlaws jump me. I end the fight victorious, but with only a sliver of health left. Well, it looks like there won't be a better time to use my PP farming weapons. I use up the rest of my Blambo, netting some okay PP from it, and switch to the torch gun. Shooting a zombie and killing it with this nets you 400 PP. On top of that, the projectile bounces, igniting any zombie it hits and guaranteeing another 400 PP for each kill. With the 40 shots you get, this gun can net you at least 16,000 PP. I hop onto the stage and emote a bit, attracting zombies to my location. I fire into the crowd, the flaming ping pong ball burning every zombie it hits and engorging my PP bar to levels I had thought impossible. With the final shot, I hit enough zombies to raise my level and get me to full health. Thank God, now it's time to stop these no-good silly billies. I engage in a gunfight with two of the gangsters patrolling the front of the slot ranch before taking on the heaviest of Kanye's forces at their armored getaway van, eliminating all of them effortlessly with headshots. Now, it's time to put what I had learned from my workout earlier to the test. Kanye and Don Cheadle watch me beat the ever-living shit out of their van and shirk away, afraid of the full, raw power of this slim sheriff. Rebecca shows up and takes some videos for her mukbang / makeup / true crime channel and rips off my catchphrase. I explode with fury and pounce on her for stealing my copyrighted catchphrase. Her womanly charm gets the better of me, however. Her heaving breasts and tiny waist wipe all thought from my mind as she gets up and straddles me. Holy shit, I'm glad I'm not afraid of women that much anymore. She's impressed with my manly prowess, setting up a date with me, her, and her source at the barbecue joint in the Americana. Great, I'm gonna have to figure out an excuse as to why I turn green at the sight of any food left in front of me. God, I wish Chef Antoine were still here. I head into the food court. Maybe the chef left some recipes that I can use and substitute the seed oils for something less damaging. Instead of recipes, I find Jay Anus here holding a briefcase and keeping away a quickly growing crowd of zombies below him. Jay Anus recognizes my power when I kill the zombies with a single queen and show him my sheriff's revolver. We head into the Royal Flush Plaza, spotting a golfing pro in danger. I save her with another dead queen and upstage her by golfing an absolutely immaculate game. I do so well that I magically get 10 grand out of absolutely nowhere. I take them both to the safe room and get a level up for saving them. During all the commotion with the heist and whatnot, Candy called me and told me of a woman being attacked by some outlaws in the maintenance tunnels. Once more, I brave the perfume section and head into the maintenance tunnels from the Palisades Mall. The outlaws are shooting at an unarmed woman. Wait a minute, how long have they been at this? I got that call forever ago. Anyway, I dispatch her attackers and she says thanks, despite the fact she totally could have handled it herself. Sure babe, whatever. I'm just doing this to kill some time before my date. You're lucky I didn't find any of Antoine's recipes, or else we'd be having a nice stew with your ass in it for my date. Anyways, I take the braggart Toonami to the safe room and head back out to finish some last minute business before the date with Rebecca and her source, who's hopefully a chick. I grab another revolver from the Uranus on Bake and mess around with that sex offender's cool-ass chainsaw before I get a call from Tiffany about an illegally parked mail cart in the Royal Flush. The offender is a crazy man with crazy eyes. One particularly popular piece of Dead Rising trivia is that this dude is voiced by the same voice actor as Double D from Ed, Edd n Eddy. How about another cool piece of trivia? If you look carefully, you can see that he uses a Dead Rising pen. What a quirky little Easter egg. Anyway, this dude gets pissed after I commit mail fraud to try to get some easy zombricks. He hands me a bomb, and I see this as the perfect opportunity to clear his illegally parked vehicle from the area. He starts fuming at the destruction of his mail cart, picking up a shotgun and going postal on me. This is yet another easy boss fight. I hit him a few times with the defiler I had made earlier before getting bored and using my 6-shooter. It's a very similar fight to the Slappy fight earlier. Dodged his range attacks, the shotgun barrage attack he does is actually quite dangerous, and fire at him while you have the opportunity. The gunfight ends quickly with the mail freak trying to deliver one final piece of mail. Looks like it was sent by one Mr. Kaczynski? Oh shit! With that little bit of madness over, I get a tasty dose of zombricks and head on over for my date with Rebecca, and her hopefully female source. I head over to the restaurant, growing more and more nauseous as the smell of barbecue grows stronger and stronger. It seems I'm here first. I head to the second floor so that I can get us a decent seat. Before I can start practicing my excuses for not eating, I hear the mocking tone of Kanye coming from a walkie-talkie on the bar ahead of me. He's mega fucking fuming that I ruined his heist, so he captured Rebecca for revenge. He tells me that if I don't want to see graphic footage of her getting blacked by his BBC, I'll bring him $1 million to the nightclub by 7 p.m. tomorrow. Kanye, you sick NTR fetishist son of a bitch, I'll get you for this. Thankfully, I've got a cool $1 million sitting in my back pocket right now. I decide to get a head start on the ransom by immediately heading over to the nightclub in the Yucatan. I exit the Americana and get into the Platinum Strip through the arena. As I enter the outside, I'm struck with a psychic vision of the toilet cleaner from the intro being shot in the head with a sniper rifle. On the rooftop of a nearby casino, it is revealed to me that the Boomer Waffen have finally activated. They've stopped posting death threats against government officials with their full legal names on Facebook and put their money where their mouth is, shooting anyone they deem to be un-American. Unfortunately, they consider the most American man in gaming, second only to Duke Nukem, an enemy to their cause. It makes sense, I am a journalist after all, which is the true enemy of the people. I finish filling up my pee-pee bar with a broom knife attack, giving me a level up. I hop on a bike and try to reach the other side of the map, but I get sniped off of it by one of these redneck sons of bitches. I learned from an earlier playthrough that one way to keep them from targeting you is to roll like you're in a Dark Souls game. I roll for my life, only getting hit when I stop rolling and get into a hole within the Atlantica. As soon as I'm safe from the snipers, I get attacked by a zombie stripper. Great, it's almost like I never even leveled up. I entered the Atlantica, and from there it's smooth sailing to the nightclub. I finally reached the nightclub, $1 million burning a hole in my pocket, and instead of getting my sexy Asian waifu back, I met with disappointment as the doors are locked and will be until 7 p.m. Great. It's about midnight or 1 a.m. in game at the moment, so I have some time before getting my girl back. Let me tell you, day 3 is incredibly busy. Unfortunately, I'm debilitatingly retarded, and this caused me to forget to record the events of the morning of day 3. So, I've recreated the events of that day using part of the fortune I made from Fortune City to hire actors to act in a dramatization of that day. You'll notice that the parts of the day that I had to redo will be performed by myself, only this time I'm wearing a white cowboy hat. So, quick run through the morning of day 3. I head to Uranus Zone to grab a book that will increase my gambling odds. From there, I rescue a couple within a dressing room of the arena. They had set a fire in the doorway to try to stop the zombies from coming in. This obviously didn't work, as one of them is being attacked by 2 zombies as her husband sits in the corner doing absolutely nothing. I put out the fire in the doorway and set a fire in the loins of this redneck tomboy who will be put in my breeding pens after this whole outbreak deal is solved. I make a quick stop in the Americana Casino to grab another gambling book located where my date with Rebecca and her source was supposed to be. After that, I take the 2 to the safe house and head out in the Fortune Park in Uranus Zone so that I can scavenge for rotten food. When I have enough hamburgers and hot dogs with a far larger amount of worms than usual on it, I know I found the right stuff. I take the food to the Palisades Mall, where I encounter the most vile, disgusting, legitimately anger-inducing survivor in this run. It appears that Ronald from the first game was able to asexually reproduce, giving birth to this cocksucker who I won't give the dignity of naming. Cocksucker here has ruined 2 of the 3 attempts I've made on this run because of a glitch that I will get to later. I punish Cocksucker for his crimes in previous timelines by abusing his gluttony, feeding him rotten food, and taking photos to show the world this walking scum brought low. I give him one final humiliation, half of a melon. Fat people hate fruit, yet he cannot and will not stop himself. He breaks, bowing to my will. Before leaving, I grab one final gambling book and head to the next area. After recruiting the true villain of this run, we head into the Atlantica for the next survivors. I run into the poker room and encounter a bunch of gamblers. Oh wait, hold on, let me grab something first. I hand Cocksucker the only thing I truly want him to eat and head to the next survivor nearby. I get to her and holy shit, a busty ginger mermaid?
You will be amongst the highest of my concubines.
I kidnap her and set her down in the poker room as yet another big titty lady and her cohorts challenge me to a game of poker for the privilege of saving their lives. The poker game goes relatively quick in this recreation of the playthrough. In the real playthrough, this took me quite a lot of time. That and a wild goose chase for a weapon I have to find in order to unlock a group of survivors later left me with barely any time to finish everything up before the deadline of noon came around. Anyways, I play poker aggressively, beating this random Asian dude, big titty lady, and some dude named after my home state in a few hands. Fun fact, I once worked with a man who looked exactly like Nevada here in an old warehouse job. The guy smelled so bad that to this day, years later, I can still remember the ungodly body odor from just looking at a video game character who looks like him. He also tried to flirt with our female coworkers by comparing them to Dead by Daylight survivors. I will forever feel bad for the 4'11" Asian girl he cornered in an aisle and continuously compared to Claudette. Anyways, after my tangent, I get the poker fiends, cocksucker, and my new mermaid wife to the safe room. Now I have to get to the Palisades and talk to a gang of degenerates in a basement to unlock them as savable survivors on day 4. I need to bring a cement saw and a stack of plates to them in order to fulfill the requirements for saving them. In the original playthrough, this took me several hours, leaving me with scant amount of time to talk to them and continue with the rest of the day. In this recreation of events, I portray myself as a hyper-competent superhuman who finds a cement saw and stack of plates quickly instead of running around and wasting time like a fool. Inside the Palisades, the basement buddies begin advertising their podcast and give me a sample of their horrible show. I immediately stick my fingers in my ears and scream as to not sully my ears. We here at Come Dungeon Gaming only listen to Gator Me podcast, friends of the channel, link to their SoundCloud in the description. Anyways, after meeting the butt buddies, I give them their weapon components, unlock a new combo card for a weapon that will come in handy a single time, and save in their bathroom. Now, back to the real playthrough and the sad, sickening events that await us. The booty buddies have given me a plate launcher. Somehow, if you combine a cement saw and a stack of dishes, you'll get a weapon that would be killer in a game of balloons. The plates slice through any zombie it hits and proceeds to go through a few more before shattering and killing more zombies with the remaining shards. For each zombie you kill, you get 200 PP. This will be a fine way to gather PP for a level up. I use up the entirety of the plate launcher on the silver strip, edging my PP to half a bar before I run out of ammo. Up next on my to-do list is to violently gun down the boomer snipers. Taking them out will cause the next survivor escorts to be much easier. I climb up the side of the Atlantica Casino to find the first of these Duck Dynasty rejects. Derek here will attack me with a sniper rifle. Appears that he is a full-on member of FaZe Clan though, as he can instantly quickscope me if I am even a little bit out of cover. Another gamer. We can't keep fighting each other like this, man. I hide behind an electrical box and exploit my right-hand advantage to get a few hits off on him. He seems to have had his G Fuel this morning though, and is able to get quite a few shots off on me, bringing me down to a single block of health. His skills aren't a match for my zero build skills though, and I drop him. Before I leave, I emote on his corpse and take his sniper to help me out in a few minutes. Before I can engage the next sniper, I've got to figure out this whole health situation. One hit and I'm dead. Thankfully, we're in America's new capital of sin, so there are plenty of ways to edge my PP to climax. I start by killing the final amount of zombies needed to get a 20,000 PP bonus. Next, I head to some commercial goon caves and hit all 3 of them up. The stains on my trousers are a badge to show how hard I worked in there for my PP. I then meet Officer DD Megadoodoo herself, converting her to my cause. Fuck, I'm getting close. I leave her in the sex shop to go into the strip, giving myself some electrical stimulation to... Alright, I really need a shower after writing that disgusting joke. Ignoring the new squishy feeling in my underwear, I head over to the fountain in Paradise Park and engage in a sniper battle with the next of the boomers, Big Earl. This is far easier than the first of the boomers. I just hide behind cover once again and abuse the right-hand advantage to get hits off on Earl. Honestly, the zombies behind me are more of a danger than Earl. He's brought to justice by my big iron, and I head back to the Silver Strip to go grab Officer Megadoodoo and another survivor. I quickly craft a powerful weapon by duct taping 2 chainsaws to a motorbike, as I think it will make the next survivor easier to recruit. Inside of a nearby casino is... Edward Richtofen. Yeah, don't lie to me, pal. I know you're not some kind of fancy bank CEO. Richtofen requires me to help him complete an Easter egg on this map in order to recruit him. I defend him as he inputs the number 115 onto these ATMs and receives some sort of strange Illuminati artifact each time. I don't know, I don't care, I'm more focused on stopping drug lords, hiding from Springtrap, and becoming the prettiest sheriff in the West to care about the extended COD Zombies storyline. Anyways, I'd arm Officer Mega Doodoo with my nearly empty revolver and lightly tap the zombies with my chainsaw to instantly kill them so that Richtofen can complete the next Easter egg. The final one will be across Fortune Park. Richtofen runs over to the next ATM and I marvel at how safely they both make it across the park. There should be one more sniper on the roof of the Royal Flush Plaza and one on top of the movie theater we're at. I know for sure that the movie theater sniper doesn't spawn later on, but I don't remember killing the one on top of the Royal Flush in this playthrough. It's possible that I did it during the events that I had forgotten to record earlier on, but I'm not 100% sure. I guess this means I didn't complete the challenge as I couldn't kill all of the psychos. I don't know, I killed 2 of the 4 and the other 2 didn't spawn in due to a glitch or something. If you consider the challenge failed, mention it in the comments. If enough people yell at me about it in the comments, I'll do a special Come Dungeon Gaming livestream in which I disembowel myself for the audience with a broken bottle of Jägermeister. Anyways, Richtofen gets all of the parts for yet another secret plan and agrees to finally follow me to the holy shit, I'm about to lose a survivor. I forgot that Sherry in the security room called me earlier and told me that the necrophiliac from the day prior needed another Zombrex dose before he would end up turning. I was too busy being a pawn in Richtofen's grand scheme and totally forgot to go give him his daily dose. I leave these sacks of dead weight in the mall's back rooms as I head into the safe room. Sullivan does his angry old man routine and I tell him to shove it as I shove the needle into Jared's arm, saving him and keeping my perfect survivor run pristine. Once I get Officer Mega Doodoo and Richtofen into the security room, I'm met with Cocksucker holding his balls like a retard. This has been the run killer twice for me. It's a seemingly simple request. Cocksucker needs a porn mag so that he can repress his urges and not sexually assault women in the safe house. The mission's time limit is very lenient, only requiring you to make a short run to the Silver Strip sex shop to grab the titty mag, and then head back to give it to Cocksucker. Failing the mission will cause Cocksucker to go onto a violent sexual rampage, killing every single woman in the safe room. Minus, whatever the chick who keeps calling me is named. This obviously fails the Saint run and I can't let that happen. The only problem with this mission is that it seems to be bugged. I don't know what it is that causes the bug, maybe skipping dialogue, I don't know. Anyways, if the bug occurs, Cocksucker won't finish his dialogue, and this will prevent you from completing the quest despite the fact you have given this perverted waste of air what he needs. I made a save this time, making damn sure that I will have a backup in case this happens again. Twice, it killed my run. I hate this fat piece of shit so much you wouldn't even believe it. I get to the sex shop, grab the magazine, and head back. Cocksucker takes it and gives me a measly $100 for it. The money is not important to me, however. Actually completing this quest is. After holding my breath for what felt like an hour, the dialogue completes and I can forget this fat piece of shit exists for the rest of the game. I breathe a sigh of relief, not knowing at the time that 2 of the psychopaths won't spawn for me at all, but whatever. I once again grab the one thing that makes me feel safe from the bank and decide to go to the South Plaza so that I may find a quiet spot to sob violently until it's time to go pick up Rebecca. I walk into the plaza, holding back tears, only to find bodies strung up from the scaffolding. I know this handiwork. I find my old arch nemesis, Sheriff Periwinkle Q Tiddlywinks, interrogating his next victim. I'm not surprised to see my old nemesis here. Years ago we fought over jurisdiction over a small settlement in the deserts of New Mexico. That town weren't big enough for the 2 of us. Quite literally, as the sheriff's office was the size of a broom closet and I wasn't too keen on sharing it. We settled our differences at a duel at high noon. I defeated him, shooting the gun out of his hand and driving him insane due to the massive amounts of ayahuasca I convinced his wife to sneak into his morning coffee. It looks like he wants to take over my position as sheriff. No way. This is my desert, my city, my fortune. This will be the last time we meet, Sheriff Tiddlywinks. I decide to pull some more sneaky tactics, dodging to the side of him to get a hit. Hey you dick, you can't do that, that's my move, you're cheating. It appears that he managed to learn my disarming technique and is using it against me. Tiddlywinks, you treacherous son of a bitch. I have to be careful. Melee combat seems to be where he wants to take this, but he is using his pleasure stick and lynching lasso against me. I can't tell you the real name of the lasso, as it is something so incredibly racist it would get my channel banned, and anybody who watched this video banned from watching YouTube. I use my peak advantage against Tiddlywinks, dodging his lasso and wrathful dildo when he shoots the gun out of my hand like a pussy-ass bitch. I eventually get sick of his stupid cowboy antics and pull out a lightsaber to strike him down. In his final moments, Sheriff Tiddlywinks tries to rise above me one final time to prove himself the true sheriff above all. He unfortunately makes a Deltarune reference and ends up provoking God's wrath for being cringe. Sheriff Tiddlywinks, from one lawbringer to another, I salute you in your tenacity in enforcing the law. What the fuck am I talking about? I've never met this guy in my life. I really need to get my head checked out after this. What the fuck is wrong with me? I take this dude's revolver and recruit a survivor that had been busy sitting in a growing puddle of piss who had been hiding in my secluded crying spot. I take this uninteresting survivor to the safe room. As I head in, I catch word of a strip poker game taking place in the safe room. Well, I've got some time before I have to go pick up Rebecca, and I might be able to see some titty before I go. Winning this poker game wasn't originally part of the challenge, but I want to see some titty, damn it. It's me, the sick Mega Man sex fiend, the cute redneck chick, and the drunk dancer. God damn it, Catherine, why can't I stop seeing her face? My ex continues to torment me, beating me in a hand and forcing me to take off my sheriff's sunglasses. Fun fact, I completely forget where to find these sunglasses, and we go the rest of the run without a cool western filter. Thanks to the gambling books I had kept for emergency toilet paper, one loss is only a minor setback. I whittled down their banks, getting a view of that harlot's sexy crunchy toes before having to take a quick break to go get Rebecca. I use the perfume department and head into the Palisades, finding a group of absolutely useless hookers hanging out in a pool. I hire them in case I need to distract Kanye with white women, taking them to the nightclub with me so that I may go pay Rebecca's ransom. Outside the nightclub, Eddie Murphy shows up, takes the ransom, and squeezes my balls before letting me go get my sexy Asian babe. If he hadn't been pointing a dramatic cutscene gun at me, I swear. Inside the club, I meet with Rebecca's source, or sources. It's revealed that Kanye's duo of whores had been feeding info to Rebecca for some reason, I don't remember why. I was too busy being scare-roused when they started feeling up Rebecca in front of me and threatening me with mall ninja swords. I tuck my other PP bar into my waistband as I am pitching a tent and I don't need them to cut it off. The fight with the whores is seemingly difficult as you must face both of the twins at once. They're fast and hit hard, but your only saving grace is that you only have to kill one of them to finish this boss fight. I play this like a survivor main, looping the twins around the perimeter of the club while occasionally turning around to blast the gold one in the face. I choose her as my target because 1, she was directly in front of me when the fight started, and 2, I think the gold color makes her boobs look bigger, so I want to look at her more. The sexy fun and games end when I finally put Goldilocks out of my misery. The second of the Trollop team freaks out and commits seppuku. The bunch of freaks. I push the newly forming ideas of what fun I could have with a warm stab wound and save Rebecca. She tells me that Kanye is trying to get out of the city ASAP and that he's trying to leave from the rooftop of the hotel. Alright, let's stop this weed-pushing son of a bitch. I grab their swords before leaving, ready to get out there and stop this son of a... my hookers. I guess I can save them first. Whatever. I take them through the food court, dodging zombies as best I can, as the twins had left me with almost no health. Before I can head to the safe room and save the hookers, I feel oddly compelled to head over to the nearby store and change into a tuxedo before grabbing a gallon of disgusting, molded, poisonous orange juice and heading back into the slot ranch. Inside the slot ranch, I find a black version of my homeboy Josh sitting and waiting for a show. Shout out to Josh, by the way. Before I can recruit him, I'm rudely interrupted by...
Holy
shit. All of the blood rushes out of my brain and into somewhere else. This sexy MILF wants me to put on a show or something for her, whatever. I listen to her, putting up with the whole Dommy Mommy thing in order to fully subdue her after proving myself to her. I let the blood flow back into my brain, turning to the script so that I may ignore the voluptuous woman in revealing clothing. This is a one-of-a-kind psychopath encounter. Miss Titties Bigger Than My Goddamn Head here has everyone in the audience tied up and rigged with explosives. If her demands for a perfect show aren't met, she'll blow herself and all of the survivors here up. In order to save everybody, I'm going to have to hide yet another throbbing PP bar and do as she says. Dressing up in a tuxedo and getting something for her to drink will save me time, as those are her first 2 requests. Final request before the show is to gather a crowd of zombies in front of the stage to make this delusional old bimbo think she actually has fans. My gang of useless prostitutes make this a little more difficult, as they won't all stay backstage as I tell them to, and instead kill some of the crowd for no reason but to piss me off. Nonetheless, I managed to get enough of a crowd going for the show to start. All I have to do now is finish this by doing a simple rhythm game. She's supposed to start flying on the 3rd phase of the show, but my high levels of Rill keep her from enacting her dark magic. She ends the show in some sort of ecstasy and attempts to crowd surf on top of a horde of zombies. I'm not letting another great pair of boobs be wasted tonight. I pop a queen to save BB, recruiting her and the rest of the audience for a nice level up. I take them to the safe room and think about how I can appeal to BB's ego to get some of that 45-year-old vintage strange. Alright, time to stop the heist of the century and get my $1 million back. In a little bit, actually. I hear the sound of bitching from the cafeteria, which can only mean a survivor needs some worthless shit. Sven, the paramedic from day 1, is shaking and sweating. He tells me that we're running low on disinfectant in the security room and that we're going to need a giant bottle of vodka to use as a replacement. Before I ask who's hurt, he screams at me to go get him a bottle of booze. Fine, you dick, you were lucky I won extra PP. I hop on over to the Americana and grab a bottle there. Once I return, I hand over a bottle of vodka to Sven. When I hand him over the bottle, he opens it and drinks the entire thing like a man dying of thirst in the desert. His hand stops shaking long enough to hand me a dose of Zombrex he was holding out on me with, and thanks me for the booze. I'm not gonna think about the fact I just enabled an alcoholic. Mostly because I don't really care. It appears Kanye hired cheap goons to handle loading up his chopper, and they're all taking a siesta. This gives me plenty of time to finish up the game of strip poker. For what sounded like a time-sensitive mission, we're given a lot of time before it expires and Kanye escapes. Back in the poker room, we all sit down and ew, get off the table, Richtofen. I really don't want to beat this guy in a strip poker game. Only reason I'm letting the sick Mega Man fetishist in on the game is because I want to take his sweet helmet. I restart and get my ex, the Mega Man freak, and one of those useless hookers to play instead. That's better, I guess. The hooker has a real butterface going on though. Why are her lips so damn big? Anyways, I trick, outplay, and cajole my way to victory, allowing me wonderful views of crusty hooker feet and ass, access to the red Mega Man helmet, I don't know Mega Man lore, and the satisfaction of stripping a virtual woman who looks like my ex. My satisfaction is immediately destroyed when it is revealed that Noth Catherine's boobs are smaller than the real thing and that she's wearing duct tape pasties. I am close to putting a funny firearm in my mouth and pulling the trigger. I saved the last 2 strip poker victims for later, deciding that now is a good time to finally stop Kanye. I get my sheriff's hat back from the store and get another revolver from the bank. Before I leave Uranus Zone, I grab a Nerf gun from one of the nearby Carney games. This will come in handy very soon. It's time to put an end to the Kanye crew for good. A gunfight immediately erupts when I get into the hotel lobby. I put them all down with a single headshot for each, shrugging off a hit here and there. I took so many bullets in Willamette that I can now take a few bursts of gunfire before the rounds start to break skin. After a cowardly ambush from another goon in an elevator, I wipe out Kanye's forces in the lobby. Rebecca sneaks in at the last second, slipping in to get the scoop and totally not get closer to me. I know I'm gonna be in that puss tonight, baby. Kanye, Eddie Murphy, and Don Cheadle are loading up the helicopter with whatever they had looted from the city, alongside the $1 million I gave them, and are almost ready to go. I tell Rebecca to get a shot of this as I heroically tell Kanye that the only place he's going is into the jail in my sheriff's office. Kanye is freaking out at this point as I've got him dead to rights and takes off. I think fast, hooking the chopper to a crane, holding Kanye and his remaining minions down. Time to take this son of a bitch drug pusher down. The fight with Kanye's chopper is rather easy, especially since I brought the Nerf gun. This fight requires you to use the winch to bring the chopper down, making it vulnerable to thrown weapons. For some reason, the game counts the ping pong balls from the Nerf gun as a thrown weapon, doing massive damage to the bird. I use my cowboy dexterity and level 4 ballistic rated chest calluses to dodge the chopper and tank its minigun. I get knocked down to 2 health blocks, but manage to take down Kanye's helicopter with my Nerf blaster. I hop into the chopper, killing Kanye's pilots and doing a badass jump back onto the roof that was too cool to show on film, while Kanye falls down and shatters his back before getting blown up by the exploding helicopter. I stand above Kanye. He won't be dealing drugs in Clark County ever again. In fact, he'll be getting a rope for this one. Money from the highest rains down on us, burning. It's quite frankly the coolest I've ever been. The trail of vaginal dripping beneath Rebecca shows that she thinks the same as she gushes in more ways than one over my display of heroism. Hell yeah, she got it all on camera too. The Frank West Bunny Ranch will have tons of women from around the world applying to become a resident once that tape hits YouTube. We use a fade to black transition to teleport Kanye back to the safe room, chained to a hospital bed and going nowhere. Sullivan walks in and implies that he will ask Kanye to do the thug shaker and perform 6 sexual acts on him while he's tied up. I am absolutely shocked by the vile things he is telling me and forbid him from being alone in a room with Kanye. It's the end of the 3-day waiting period at least. I just have to wait until 8 in the morning for the military to rescue us so I can take Kanye to the county jail and have him strung up for murder and robbery. Sullivan pulls some annoying 12-year-old shit sitting in front of Kanye's room.
I'm not in his room, I'm just in front of it.
You've only been here 3 days, man. This sick shit has been inside you for a while, hasn't it? Anyways, I pat my pocket full of scorched $100 bills and head off to kill some more time before the military arrives. The Fortune City farewell tour ends with, shit, I forgot her name again. Sherlina? I don't know. Anyway, she's yapping at me to go rescue some girls standing on top of the hotel with a shotgun. A woman with nothing to lose holding a shotgun. You really lead me to the best scoops, huh? Annoying bitch. I get to the hotel and... Okay, for the love of God, just stop yapping. I'll go find your mom or whatever. I look for this annoying broad's mom at the food court because that's where I found your old mom last night. Ooh! I reach her and... No, just follow me. I don't want to hear more yapping. This whole trip cost me one of my 2 health blocks, and I've had enough of the babbling about your feelings or whatever. I ran over to the hotel, getting bitten and brought down to a fraction of a health block. I know a sheriff has to take care of his constituents, but goddamn I hate these broads. I get the yapping chick's mom to her, taking a picture of their reunion hug and recruiting her. This nets me enough PP to... not level up. Shit. I gotta drag these 2 back to the safe house and I have almost no health. God help me. I have a real bitch of a time getting through Fortune Park, dying multiple times to a single scratch and bite. These hoes are absolutely not worth the PP they give me. After successfully walking through the park, I managed to get them into the Royal Flush Plaza. I forgot which woman was which at this point, but I know that both of them absolutely had to be from Willamette. I skate my way through the plaza. One of the pair follows me into the exit, but the other is stuck somewhere far behind in the plaza. Instead of doing the smart thing and taking one to the safe room from some PP and a possible heal, I skate over to find the other woman stuck in mid-air like many of the residents of that accursed Colorado town. I managed to break her trance and get back to the safe room without taking a hit, receiving a well-earned level up for putting up with all the yapping. From there I head into the poker room to beat the final players. The redneck tomboy and Richtofen are my final victims. I beat these fools with no problem, stripping the redneck girl to find out she's nowhere near the ideal Imogen Beauregard that I had been hoping for, and the skids are kicked out of my harem. After that, I defeat Richtofen, taking his Illuminati artifacts to stop his grand scheme and end the god-awful zombie storyline for good. Somehow he takes off his clothes for each artifact lost. Disgusting Nazi pervert. I get some shots of tastefully hidden nipples and head out to kill even more time. I briefly check out the area one of the redneck snipers normally spawn in, just in case somehow this coward decided to show himself, but only end up finding bottles of piss. I'll get those sons of bitches next time. I can feel the clothes hanging off of my body, which tells me that my diet has been working, and that I'm slowly becoming the prettiest, sexiest sheriff I can be. I head on over to the arena to pick up a new jacket, and instead come across some freakish lanklet screaming over ice cream. I tell him to fuck off, as the ice cream has certainly been corrupted by the worms as well, and I'm certain he's been working with them to get inside my body. Suddenly, the spirit of the Canadian man from the start of the game possessed his body long enough to throw the autograph I had signed for him into the wind. The clown recognizes me, revealing himself to be the brother of Adam the Clown from the first game. Apparently, there was an eyewitness report of Adam fighting someone with a camera. I can't believe Greg fucking sold me out like that. I'm reporting on what I saw in the Wonderland Plaza shortcut when I get out of this. I taunt the lanklet clown one more time, pissing him off enough to start a fight with the only law this town has got. Evan the Clown is definitely more trouble than his brother, despite using a far worse weapon. He throws cryo grenades, which clowns that serve ice cream apparently have for some reason, and ground pound attacks with his stilts. I tried to cheese the fight by getting on a nearby dirt bike to try to just ram him to death, but he manages to knock me off and freeze me to the floor, which gives me horrible frostbite. I lost a fucking toe because of this guy. I retaliated with my 6-shooter. He brought a novelty ice cream making machine and liquid nitrogen to a gunfight. I knock his health down to a little under half health and knock this asshole down a peg. I decide that I must have done a critical hit, and that's why the boss fight ended at half health like that. I begin to walk off, trying to ignore the writhing masses of worms and ice cream around me before I'm charged by Evan, who has revealed that he's actually 5'11". This cannot stand. I will not be bested by a manlet. Phase 2 sees Evan lose his ice weapons, but gain an agility boost instead. I keep my distance, and despite getting humped in the face by this freezing midget, I manage to take him down. It looks like he's commandeered the Goofy on Niggamobile and used it to store his ice cream making equipment. He tries to reach for some more lame-ass ice-themed weapons, but neglects the fact that God hates short people and gets liquid nitrogen directly in the face. I finished the job the Lord had left for me by kicking this disgusting manlet into oblivion, ending the McIntyre bloodline for good. From there, I pick up another 6-shooter and ready myself for another boss fight. Will Ferrell has seemed to fall on hard times, getting his own off-brand teller and making a C-tier magic show out of it. Even Chris Angel's better than these losers. They're going to perform the classic cutting a woman in half trick. Yawn. I yell out for them to make her top disappear and break the duo's concentration, making them kill their volunteer. They're pissed that I had heckled them and ruined their act and attack me. This is a pretty hard boss fight. Will Ferrell has a rocket-launching minigun that can stun me and make me drop my weapon, while Bootleg Teller can run up with me and cut me up with his machete. They do this to me once, and I have enough of the bullshit. I'm cheesing this fucking thing. I hop onto the decorative jellyfish fixture that the CIA has their secret weapons on and whittle down Will Ferrell's health with my 6-shooter. Taking him out of the fight will make fighting his freaky little partner far easier. I get a few good hits on him from my position, but he does a good job of evading my bullets by taking cover in the aisles of slot machines. I jump down and deliver justice to this shitty magician, taking him out and ending the fight. In their final moments, we see an example of the healthiest homosexual relationship, and I walk off to let the two lovebirds settle their issues themselves. Last thing to do before the military comes in is to finish up some requests put out by survivors. I grab a specific plant from the Palisades Mall and a golf club from the Royal Flush to give to some ungrateful parasites in the safe room. Grab an old Karen in a nearby toy store as well and carry her back to the safe room. The two harlots in the cafeteria immediately hassle me with their requests, but I immediately silence both of them when I seemingly read their mind and give the naked chick a plant that I'm sure is some sort of drug, and the golfer woman a new golf club. Never ask me for anything else ever again. Before I can head to the area where I will greet the military as the sheriff of this town, I get a call from What's-Her-Face about the Booty Hole Banger podcast members fighting for their lives in the Palisades. I told you fuckers to come with me to the safe room earlier. Now you're wasting even more of my time. Whatever. I get them to the safe room as fast as possible and sprint to the area where the military convoy will come in. I make it just in time as the military begins to pull up. I meet Rebecca and tell her to get some footage of me jumping off of the roof and doing a superhero landing for the Sheriff West TikTok page that I'll be making after this. I let the military have their fun for a little bit. A squad led by The Walk is taking way more time than I would to clear up the Silver Strip. These guys are a far cry from the efficient umbrella guys from Willamette. I'll wait for them to reload before I make my move. Before I can make an epic entrance, something horrible starts to happen. Some sort of stinky green gas starts to come up from the vents, doing something to the zombies. The tide turns against the soldiers as the zombies begin to run, quickly overwhelming the soldiers. The Walk drives off in his Humvee in a most cowardly manner as Rebecca breaks position, risking her ass and titties to follow an Asian celebrity to get his autograph. I jump into the Silver Strip and the nightmare begins once again. Whatever this brap gas is, it's turning the zombies into fast zombies with ranged attacks. They're worse than the nightmare zombies, as now they can spit acid at me and put me in grapples that are far harder to escape from. Even worse is that they're unaffected by throwing down a queen, only being temporarily stunned. Shit, I gotta go find Rebecca and get the fuck away from these things. I bite the inside of my cheek and try to get my body to stop shaking. I can hardly hold on to my sanity as I run into the tunnels where Rebecca, the walk, and almost certainly more of these walking nightmares await me. Not before restocking my weapons and making a combo weapon one of the podcasters gave me blueprints for, of course. Don't worry about that. It appears that the walk is in the midst of shell shock, shooting at nothing with an LMG while holding my prospective girlfriend hostage. Alright, I'm the only one who can break her jaw with the butt of a rifle. What ensues is a gunfight with the walk. I hide behind cover as he mindlessly throws grenades everywhere and sprays bullets all over the place. We exchange blows and I take a lot of damage. I manage to squeak out a victory by just barely hitting him with the spiked bat at the last moment before he draws on me, ending the fight. I rescue my Oriental hoe and berate her for celebrity worship. The walk is having a freak out over his lame-ass red shirt squad and blows himself up with a grenade to be a drama queen. Yeesh. Rebecca seems to have broken her ankle, so I'll use this opportunity to feel up her body and carry her back to the safe room. I can never just have an easy time when I have to carry a bitch, can I? As I exit the tunnels, the final 2 soldiers from the cleanup crew spawn in front of me as savable survivors. Great, I'll have to be babysitting these assholes while I carry Rebecca. I recruit them and try to keep the shit out of my pants as I run through the silver strip with Rebecca in my arms and a single block of health. I get them through the strip, slot ranch, and the royal flush while being assaulted by the waves of gas zombies the whole time. I leave them by the vent and head back towards the maintenance room with the components for a knife room. I'm really gonna need the power to clear crowds in the next few minutes. After crafting my knife broom, I take Rebecca and the last survivors to save in this run into the safe room. After we get in, I get a nice feel and whiff of Rebecca's toes when I put an ice pack on her ankle. Everybody's freaking out about the nightmare gas and what it's doing to the zombies, as Kanye makes insensitive references to what I had said during the Nick News interview. I leave to cool my jets, and Sullivan informs me that if the government can't get into contact with any survivors in this outbreak area, they're just gonna bomb the whole bitch and be done with the matter. Rebecca, what's-her-face, and I meet in the security room, brainstorming as to where the hell the nightmare gas could be coming from. Kanye isn't selling enough Yeezys to get the money for this sort of thing, so he must not be alone in this. The mystery is put on hold as the door to the safe room is suddenly breached and the zombies begin to flood in. This is the final survivor-related challenge in this run. I have to gather materials to repair the door panel to the safe room. As I'm doing these tasks, survivors are fighting for their lives as the zombies begin to slowly overwhelm them. If any survivors die, the whole saving all survivors part of the challenge will fail. I cannot allow this to happen after already kinda sorta failing the challenge already. I fight valiantly, saving the only survivors willing to put up a fight and only failing a few times. I lug a heavy barrel of oil, a wire spool, and a generator to the area. Once again, making yet another Dead by Daylight reference as I repair the door and save the day for the millionth time in this series. In the confusion, Kanye somehow gets out and tries to make a break for it. He only succeeds in getting himself infected. Fucking moron. Apparently, Sullivan had fallen to his impulses, unlocking Kanye's handcuffs but getting overpowered by this massive black man. Kanye is now desperate. He begs me to get him some Zombrex to prevent him from turning and offers to give me a tell-all interview if I do so. I've actually got several doses on me at the moment, but I'm gonna let Kanye wait a little bit and sweat while he wonders if I'm actually going to give him the medicine or not. The useless-ass security room gang, and myself, meet in the cafeteria to discuss the now incredibly shifty shit that's going on. Despite the impending firebombing, Rebecca lets us know that she can get in contact with her simps on Discord and that one of them is bound to come pick us up if we can get her a phone to message them on. With that method of escape planned, we begin to discuss the nightmare gas. The gas is coming from somewhere and Kanye hasn't been out to coordinate the rollout of the gas. Where's the only place you can spread gas throughout the city's vents? The tunnels. I heroically volunteer to find out what's going on there. I hear Rebecca's heart skip a beat as she begins to worry about me when I head out. Hell yeah, I am so getting that puss, and maybe even anal when we get out of here. After leaving the safe room, I head to the silver strip to grab a chainsaw and make a slice cycle out of it so that I may more easily traverse the tunnels. Inside the tunnels, I reach the central HVAC system being guarded by goons wearing blue. I gun them down and head into the door where they were guarding to find a massive room full of weird sci-fi equipment. Apparently, the equipment can pop the heads of the gas zombies, bringing out queen zombies and sucking them into a machine above. The goons are the culprit of the gas for sure, as I spot one of them throwing more gas haphazardly into the air. I really hope this isn't going to have any adverse health effects in the future. As always, I'm spotted by yet another goon and get into yet another gunfight. After fighting my way up into their lab, I meet two generic Half-Life scientists who think that they're Gordon Freeman and try to cap the sheriff. I quickly dispatch the nerds and look on their laptop. There's evidence that Kanye has been working with some company I've never heard of called some zombies. On the way back to the safe house, I meet up with Kanye and decide it's finally time to give him his Zombrex. He graciously thanks me for giving him some of my highly rare life-saving drug, and I respond to him in kind. In the safe room, I tell these useless fagulas that this has all been orchestrated by the transgender agenda and that we have to really watch what we say when we tell the world of Kanye and the true transgender. The nameless bitch shows her true colors, shooting my girlfriend and Sullivan. I fucking knew I never liked her. She pockets the phone with Discord installed from Rebecca's still warm corpse and prepares to finish the job and take me out. Sullivan then saves me at the last second, taking a bullet meant for me and giving me enough time to wrestle that chick to the ground. I try to hold her down, grabbing her hair to stop her, but I'm too strong and tear most of the hair right off of her scalp. Shit, I won't let this bitch get away with ruining a prime set of Chinese ass and titties. And, I guess for Sullivan too, thanks or whatever, I don't know. Remember my buttfuck highway comment from like 27 pages ago? Yeah, we're getting onto it right now. No, they don't even have the courtesy to give us a reach around. I take the perfume department shortcut from the Royal Flush into the Palisades to stock up on sniper rifles for the upcoming tangle with the armed mercenaries that the angel in my head warned me of. They must have been told by the forces of darkness of my plans, as when I enter the Palisades, I'm cut off from the gun store by a group of 3 mercs. I'm routed from the gun store and down to the first floor where another trio fills my sexy thin body with nasty ugly lead. When I respawn, I use the nearby zombies for cover and take 2 of the gunmen out. The coffee from my CSI Miami reference comes back to bite me in the ass as the feeling of worms in my stomach becomes too much and I vomit, dropping my gun. I pick it up off the floor and finish off the last soldier with no more issues at least. From there, I grab a sniper and take out the enemies on the ground floor, and take another 2 snipers for the rest of the shitstorm that awaits me. I take the exit to the Silver Strip alleyway, and yet somehow end up in front of the Royal Flush Plaza. Feelings of disorientation and confusion must be pushed away as I see the atrocity happening in front of me. It looks like the queens are being harvested from these zombies and stored in these machines. Trans must be gathering the latent Christmas magic stored within these wasps so that they may call upon the Christmas spirit to become the gender they identify as. Those poor fools. Do they not know the grave cost of making a deal with the spirit? I have to stop them for their sake. There are several harvesting machines from the Silver Strip, through Fortune Park, and into the Platinum Strip. All of them are guarded by a trio of mercenaries. Gotta break them if I'm gonna stop all of this madness. This is where the game punishes me for how lightly I've been taking it so far. I have a single block of health left. If I get close to the mercs, I'll be gunned down immediately. Sniping is my only option at this point, but this opens me up to attacks from the waking nightmare zombies. I'm going to have to play it smart, unlike the footage I'm showing you now. One advantage that I have right now is this blast frequency gun I had picked off of one of the mercs in the tunnels. It's next to useless against normal zombies, but gas zombies will be immediately killed when struck by it. Killing them with this will spawn a queen that will make it easier to kill nearby zombies with. This will come in handy later. Anyways, I managed to snipe the mercs on my first harvester, running up to beat it to death as fast as possible with a spiked bat. Next one is just a stone's throw away in front of the hotel. I snipe the mercs there from the safety of a water fixture and knock out the second harvester with ease. I run into the hotel lobby and then immediately back out to get a checkpoint. I know I'm gonna need it really soon. I hop up onto one of the spots the Boomerwaffen were sniping from in the Platinum Strip to snipe more of the mercs and take out another harvester. It appears that somehow they have projected some sort of protective shield as my bullets seem to shatter in mid-air for some reason. I jump down to try something new and end up fatally spraining my ankle. After respawning, I spent the following hour of my life that I will never get back, making multiple attempts to clear the Platinum Strip. I really regret coming into this with only a single block of health. Trying to get the last harvester in front of the arena was the video game equivalent of cock and ball torture. Unfortunately, there's no uppity dominatrix here to turn into an art piece in my apartment after the fun. I run in and out of the Americana for the checkpoint before going in and finding a grassy knoll to snipe the mercs from. As long as I can keep the zombies off of my back, I should be okay. Unfortunately, even if I take care of the soldiers, there are a massive amount of normal and gas zombies down there, and my health block is too swollen and bruised to take another hit. There is unfortunately no safe word with the zombies, so I'm killed multiple times. I'm finally able to break the harvester with some luck and usage of the blast frequency gun to drive off the zombies. Despite the odds against me, I managed to take out the remaining harvesters on the silver strip. Here's a little Dead Rising secret for you guys. Ever wonder why checkpoints are something I can take advantage of now? You know how I save my game by using the bathroom? Well, it turns out that it wasn't something I needed to do solely in a bathroom. Every time I enter a new area, I force a checkpoint by pissing myself just a little bit. This trick has saved me from a lot of nasty situations, and hopefully it can help you out too. Before going into something important like a job interview or a date, piss yourself a little bit. If it doesn't go well, simply yourself and respawn to get another try. We here at Come Dungeon Gaming all use this trick and hope it can help our viewers. Anyways, after destroying the final harvester in the city, I hijack a merc's phone to ask that traitorous whore's name so I can put it on her fucking gravestone. Oh shit, I guess there is a dominatrix here. Anyways, Tammy or whatever challenges me to an old-fashioned showdown in the amusement park and I accept. The final showdown awaits me. After I'd figure out this whole health situation, at least. One bruised, tender, bleeding block of health is not going to cut it for a climactic boss fight. I need to heal by leveling up, but there are no survivors to rescue for an easy level up. I'm gonna have to gently revive my PP bar by using combo weapons. I'm sure this won't get old quick. I tape 2 more chainsaws onto a motorcycle and drive around the park in strips. I start thinking about that fine piece of ass going cold in the security room as I slice my way through the crowd. I wish I could find my sheriff's sunglasses to hide the tears streaming down my face. After massaging my PP with the vibrations of the motorcycle for an hour, I head into the Yucatan and quickly craft myself a weapon using a tiki torch and a tennis racket. This nonsensical weapon will set tennis balls that I throw at the zombies on fire, bouncing around to any nearby zombies and giving me 500 PP for each zombie killed with the fire. Minimum amount of PP I can get from this thing is 10,000, which should be enough to get me a level up. I hop up onto the stage on the silver strip and emote, attracting a large enough horde to level up and get my PP bar into working order. On top of that, I unlock the combo card for the Super BFG, a very powerful weapon made by combining a blast frequency gun and an amplifier. Using this will kill every zombie in a cone in front of me with one shot, netting me 100 PP for each kill. This would have made the last hour of gameplay so much easier. I pocket a lightsaber and head to go put the bitch down. I enter Uranus Zone where I catch Mary doing her best Catwoman impression. She begins to ramble on about stuff. I don't really care about solving the mystery at this point. Every good piece of ass I get close to tapping ends up being killed horribly. As she rambles, I just think of the killing spree I'm going to go on, starting with her and Kanye until everyone involved is dead. Suddenly, she gets my attention by hopping into a giant crab robot and trying to kill me with one of its mighty claws. I see what she's trying to do here. Skin-tight latex suit, red hair, giant robot. I've been an Asuka simp for years and she's trying to use it against me. I won't let you violate her purity, you communist bitch. The fight with Karen here starts with her trying to smash me with the claws of the mech. I guess there's a delay in the controls as her claws lie on the ground, leaving the glowing video game weak points on the claws vulnerable. I take advantage of her weakness by cutting up her claws with the Mall Ninja sword that the twins gave me. Doing this a few times pisses her off enough to bring her into phase 2, in which she drops the crap the robot had in its claws, allowing her to use them for more agile attacks. There's still a window of vulnerability after she does her attacks, allowing me to use my lightsaber to cut the claws up even more. The claws have been broken to shit, falling off of the machine and revealing the short-range missiles that were supposed to be attached to this mech. I do a knee drop to activate the missiles, launching them at the mech and disabling it to bring Therese down into my stinky, big, meaty, hairy grasp. While she's stunned, I hop into the control pod and unleash my incel fury on this puny woman. She knocks me out of the control panel, but my SRMs and throbby meeting thirst for vengeance gets me into the control panel 2 more times. After shattering her jaw in 6 places with 1 punch, I finally defeat this rotten bitch. She somehow gets the upper hand, and I get thrown out of the control pod, landing on the floor with her straddling me. Oh god, this dominatrix shit's happening again. After she lands a few little baby pussy bitch punches on me, I lie on the floor and try to recover from landing on hard concrete from a 12-foot fall. As I try to recover, she goes past my boundaries and pulls out a gun for some really weird-ass kinky shit. Unfortunately for her, I call out my safe word. Fall. With that, Brenda is turned into a fine paste, and I never ever have to try and remember this floozy's name ever again. I log into Rebecca's Discord, and mention that she will send feet pics to the first of her orbiters to come in and pick up like 62 people with a helicopter. One desperate loser with a commercial pilot's license takes the bait, and a few hours later I'm on top of the rooftop of the safe room. After loading the last of the survivors, the pilot starts asking me where his foot pics are. I tell him to hold on as I ready my revolver. Kanye has to be put down for his crimes. After that, I'll just take a quick snapshot of Sullivan's feet and claim it's Rebecca's. I will take her and preserve her until the day I can bring her back comes. After heading into the security room, I discover that Rebecca's body is gone. I suddenly hear the annoying-ass voice of Kanye over a discarded walkie-talkie. After sniffing around Rebecca's corpse, he realized that she was still alive. Just like earlier, he's gonna black her with his BBC if I don't follow his demands. Although this time, it'll be right in the gunshot wound. The final, fatal blackening of a sad life. I won't let my second chance with my boo go to waste. Overtime mode, baby, my absolute favorite part of any Dead Rising title. Fetch quests are certainly the most fun to have in this game, right? This time, I have to go on a shopping spree for Kanye and gather medical supplies to heal Rebecca's wound. I've been handling food too much the last few days, and I'm not going to give her a cheeseburger to heal. Fucking worms in the food. First thing to grab is into the security room of the Americana Casino. Inside is a picture of the CEO of Phenotrans having a little too much fun. Do these quote-unquote people have no shame? Looks like Kanye is going to use this to blackmail him for free Zombrex and HRT for the rest of his life. Too bad he won't get a chance to do so after I'm done with him. Next, I head to the pharmacy in the Royal Flush where I pick up some painkillers for Rebecca. She may be a little sore after we get out of here and kill Kanye, and I want to celebrate with her afterwards. No, I have a headache. I'm leaking the contents of my intestines. Boo-hoo! Will stop me from enjoying my prize. Before continuing the fetch quest, I consult the services of hold on, let me check the list of acceptable terms for minorities. Roma person, for some insight into my future. I pester him for tips to fight Kanye, but he only gives me random platitudes, obviously hiding something from me. I finally give him enough money to tell me the truth, and all he does is look at me with fear in his eyes, croaking out my fortune.
Full will not just be the end of you, but the end of everything.
Yeah, whatever. Just give me the PP I came here for, and I'll be on my way. I get a level up from harassing this fortune teller, and continue on my way. Next on the list is a bottle of Kanye's favorite drink. Yeah, that figures. Alright, next I need to head to the train that Kanye had used to try to escape me on day 1. Inside is a basket full of Zombrex that I'm totally pocketing after tearing this dude a new hole to write bangers out of. Next up, I head into the Arena Zone nurse's office to grab some sutures to stitch up Rebecca's wounds to keep the temptation of some really dark forms of sex out of my sick brain. With that, I head over to the slot ranch to grab some gauze to pack the wound to keep whatever blood is left in my host's body inside of her. Before I continue to the last item, I once again farm PP with combo weapons to level up and get myself to full health.
A showdown's brewing and I ain't gonna be left at no disadvantage.
Now the final thing on the shopping list is a men's thong. I see what you're doing here, Kanye, you son of a bitch. We're finishing this Yakuza style, aren't we? I accept your challenge. It's time. I make it to the arena, ready to engage Kanye man to man. The final battle awaits. I walk up to the entrance to the wrestling ring, ready to save my wife. I'm gonna take you down, you son of shit! You're just gonna knock me out like that? Not even with a fucking thong I got you so we can finish this Yakuza style? You son of a bitch, I look retarded now because of you. Thankfully, the moans of the nearby zombies muffled a very specific word that starts with N that I'm screaming at this asshole. Kanye has put me in the middle of a battle that I have no chance of winning. I'm left to fight until I run out of stamina and die. Unless there's a miracle brewing above me. Now, I have to survive a gauntlet like at the start of the game. This would be far easier if the gas zombies weren't trying to get revenge for all 13,666 nightmare zombies from the last time around. The first few attempts, I try to fight them all off, losing too much health to survive the upcoming fight with Kanye. After my 1000th attempt, I remember that I have had the key to survival in my inventory the whole time. The zombie walk, I forgot I'd even add it. I begin to make a funny Shaun of the Dead reference, tricking all of the surrounding stupid-ass zombies for the duration of the gauntlet. Rebecca holds her intestines inside herself long enough to reach for a rope to throw to me. Kanye immediately catches this and shows how much he respects women.
Looks like we're gonna have to put this misogynist down, boys.
I might be missing my revolver and dressed like a gay retard, but I will have my showdown with Kanye. This is a tough fight. Kanye hits hard and I've got very little space to work with here. Best thing I can do is play a game of keep away and whittle down his health with thrown weapons. It'd be an easy fight if not for the fact that I need to stop and heal Rebecca before she finally bleeds out. I've said rock in a hard place before, but man, this is even worse. Once more, I use Dead by Daylight tactics to succeed. I loop Kanye around the tile around me, turning to blind him with my flashlight, throw a spotlight at his head. I use any breaks I get in the action to keep Rebecca's health up. You can tell when Kanye has returned to the stage when you hear a subtle whine of microphone feedback. I use the audio cue to break from healing her and continue looping. I loop Kanye around for a while. We're both beat to shit. I've got one block of health left, and Kanye's face is so swollen from the heavy wrenches and stage lights I've been throwing at him that he can barely see. I loop him some more, surely annoying the shit out of him, but I don't care. I'm teabagging this baby killer when I get to the exit gates. I throw a wrench into Kanye's plans for the final time, hitting him directly in the temple and finally ending the fight. Kanye lies at my feet, broken and beaten. Before I can go grab my new girlfriend and get out of here, he gets one final burst of life to try and strangle me to death. Unfortunately for him, I use my signature move of throwing him from a high place into a horde of zombies below. Kanye is swallowed by a dark fog, becoming a pawn for the entity and leaving my life for good. From there, I know I have cemented myself as the ultimate man in Rebecca's eyes. I pick up my war trophy and princess carry her out of the arena. I've brought order to Fortune City and avoided the filthy food of this town long enough to become the thinnest, sexiest sheriff the world has ever known. I now have a sexy Chinese wife, a beautiful body, and ultimate authority. Can anyone stop me at this point?
Using I mean it. Seriously. I need a raise.
Well, I guess you can be dead rising off the record with an eating disorder. This took way longer than I had originally planned to create, but I'm glad we finally reached the ending. I offer a tip of my hat to all of you watching. We really wouldn't be doing this without all of you viewers. We've got a lot of videos planned for the rest of the year, and we hope you stick around to see them. Next video, we'll be taking a quick break from the world of Dead Rising to answer the question of can you beat Fallout New Vegas as the Wendigo? Stick around to see the sick and dark depths of the mind of Courier 6 in that video. Once again, thank you all very much for watching. Please check out the rest of the channel, comment, and subscribe so that the machine spirits in the algorithm are pleased and that the sick people that are holding my family hostage stop torturing them. Have a good night, everybody.